Hello, hello.
Hello, welcome to the EU or the NA Weekly.
Yeah,
Getting
the
ahead of
NA
myself there.
Accessible Weekly. This is also one of the qualifiers for the upcoming tournament, Qualifier 5. We've still got some people already up, so we aren't starting quite yet. 11 people remaining, I believe.
In the
But
meantime,
I'm GT Angel. I'm one of the commentators. I'm joined here with...
I'll pronounce it myself. It's Aksani. Good to chat.
Yep. And we have Ace Zephyr doing the restream. I don't know if he can talk right now or not.
I can. Hello. How you doing?
So in the meantime, chat, go ahead and get your predictions in about what kind of crazy mess we're going to run into this seed.
Yeah.
Currently 9 people. Sorry, currently
trackers... 9. Oh, sorry. But anyway, right now for trackers, we have Dom, Sigma Feed, The Darkest Shadow, and Ariani. So they will be our intrepid trackers, saving you all from our ability to miss even the most blindingly obvious of checks.
Because Lord knows we need them. 65-minute first in-logic bomb bag. That sounds honestly terrible.
As long as they got bomb twos, that's fine. I've done my first... I think it was my first race. I didn't actually find a bomb bag. Just completed the whole seed with bomb chews.
That would be, as Glitchy was saying last night, a get good moment.
I think when I played that, when I read the results after that later on in the seed, people were like, "Yeah, it was on 1500 archery." Some of the people found their first one in Ganon's castle when they were looking for light arrows.
Oh man, that's just not fun.
And yeah, Mike Katz with the full color. It's amazing. You can actually see all the colors. You can tell the difference between the tunics.
Mike Katz no longer joining us from the 1950s.
Yep, he's at least in the 90s now.
I think we're all in the 90s. This game is from 1998.
So, IRC says 6 people remaining. That does include the Joke Buster bot, so that's 5 people we're waiting for. So should be starting pretty soon. And it looks like we start with the Fire Medallion. So,
no
third
free
best
songs.
type of medallion, I think.
Yep, no free songs, but part of the way there.
Yeah, it's no Forest Medallion. And I think I like the Shadow and Spirit Medallions a little bit more than the Nocturne Medallions. Because you do still need 2.
Yeah, and a lot of the times you find that you don't actually run and go back and get Burning Cack unless it turns out to be something that's way the hero. For the most part, you can beat a seed without it.
Yeah, but it's always better than a stone.
Absolutely. Unless it is, of course, an all-dungeon seed, which we've had quite a few of lately.
Yeah, I think there was the Speed Gaming tournament, which is a no-item manipulation wrong warp. And I believe that was an all-dungeon seed.
It was. I was tracking for it last night, and they needed the 3 stones in order to get Zelda's Lullaby.
Even with all the glitches at their disposal, they still needed to do all dungeons. How sad.
Big time rip. But at least they could skip all those boss keys, which is not something that our runners can do in Accessible.
Yeah, they could do a lot of things that you cannot do in Accessible. So we're still waiting on some people. 5 remaining right now. Which means 4 because bot. Honestly, I don't care about any of this fancy all dungeons, deep fire, frogs, or whatever. I just want to see a non-standard King Zora being unfrozen. I want you to have to either buy blue fire, or I want you to go into the water trial and pick up blue fire there.
Oh, jeez. I do want to see the maximum troll of Ruder's Letter being on King Zora, which, of course, if it was, you wouldn't be able to get into the ice cavern in order to retrieve blue fire the regular way.
Better yet, you need to get Rudo's Letter in the trials.
One person reigning.
How about in the toilet, though?
How about you need to go to the trials to get an item to do... Actually, no, that wouldn't work. I don't know. I'm sure there's a way to mix the toilet in there, though.
You'd have to probably have songs shuffled, because then you could go to Ganon's trials to get Song of Time, so that you could enter the toilet and then get your blue fire to go unfreeze King Zora for Ruda's Letter. What a logical nightmare.
The race is beginning!
Yep, it's beginning.
Should be off.
There we go. And we got green.
Nice bright lime green. And then a pink.
Yeah, Mike decided to go fully into it with the color.
It looks like everyone except for Mike Katz is heading up to the sword chest. Mike Katz going to show us Mido's house first. So we got a recovery heart. A bloopy.
Is this vanilla?
And a hook shot. That is not vanilla.
That is definitely not vanilla.
As much as you might want it to be vanilla. Ooh, and strength in the sword chest. So hook shot and strength, that's a Forest Temple starter kit if I've ever seen it.
Sure is. Off to a pretty decent start here in this seed. That means we can look forward to seeing some troll a little bit later.
Hopefully. It's always the seeds that give you a lot of things that get really annoying, because then you have to go search everywhere in the world for that last thing.
Usually magic or light arrows, but at least light arrows you get an easy hint for.
It's always like the long shot. Long shot, mirror shield, like all those things that are just used for a few checks, or like just like the last area you need to go to. Mike Katz is farming some money. I wonder if he's trying to get into Deku Tree first.
That seems like a possibility.
Buy this shield.
Meanwhile, everyone else is taking the Hyrule Field route down to the South Grottos.
Mike Katz is committed to this money farming.
Interesting routing choice. Zupal does not have the Navi sound randomized, so we will be subjected to some hay throughout the restream.
I mean, I'm sure the restream's happy it's hay and not, something even worse.
Like Malin going, yeah! I had that once. It was pretty bad. First hint.
Big Goron is dead. Always the son of Skulltula, scritch, scritch, scritch.
That's true. Trez is over here saying weep, but weep is not bad. Weep is not a bad sound. Meanwhile, Mike is checking this hint near the Deku Tree and finding that Dead Hand in the well is, well, dead.
Which also means the Kokiri sword isn't required for anything this seed. Because logically you do need that to beat Dead Hand. In the well. That was the well, right?
It was the well.
I realized as I started talking that...
And Ice Cavern has Prelude, so that may not be a lucrative stop for our runners.
Yeah, a lot of the value in ice comes from this song, so... If you're around there and you're looking for items, you might go there, but probably won't get out of your way to do it. Mike did get the hook shot, yeah. I guess maybe the tracker just missed it. Mike also found bomb shoes. So getting
Really?
bomb shoes early is very nice. This is going to make Mike's route pay off a little bit, because he can do all the bombable grottos whenever he does the South Grotto route.
And that'll get him 2 more grottos than the other runners.
Ooh, an Ocarina of Time teaches Serenade.
So probably rip all dungeons, but we don't know for sure yet.
Well, at the very least, you don't need to do all dungeons to get this song. I mean, you might need to go into all of them, but... Unless all 3 bosses drop something important, you don't need to complete them all.
Did any of these runners climb the ladder up to the check, or did they just go for the hint?
I think they checked the ladder.
I don't know how I missed it on 3 people.
It's magic. I swear.
And Gerudo Fortress is a foolish choice. All of, what, 3 or 4 checks there? No horseback archery. Darn, why did I not play this seed?
Looks like it was Bloopy.
Yeah, I think that was a bloopy in the lake. Somebody was using Lake Hylia as a wishing well.
Well, I hope it gave them their wish. Maybe it was Ganondorf, actually. He went there to wish to be ruler of Hyrule.
Well, he will get that temporarily.
I mean, he gets 7 years of that.
Yeah, we will beat him down, though. Invisible Maze. Is that the one in Shadow Temple?
Probably. It said like a floor master, right? I think that's the.
No, it said the Invisible Maze guards a small key.
I thought it was the floor master in Invisible Maze.
I think the floor master is this. Oh, maybe it is. I don't know.
I don't know.
Cloud making fishing look easy.
And Zoopal trying to lovingly entice this fish.
I know that struggle, bro.
He's like, come on, you want it. You want it so bad. And the fish is like, I don't know.
It's tasty. Try it. You'll like it. I sound like my mom.
No, I will not. I will not eat green eggs and bait.
Jebaited.
So yeah, Zoopal having a bit of trouble getting this fish, but does get it in the end. Just gonna get a bloopy from this though, so.
And my cat's making that B1 skip look easy.
Make it. You know what's worse than the B1 skip is that backflip to light that Deku stick.
Truly, it is.
Ooh, and Mike Cat's only 1 stick. He's gonna. I don't think you can do crouch stabs with 1 stick. You do broken stick.
I think it's breaking the stick that takes a stick, but you have to have 1 left for it to be broken, or something like that.
Well, if you have a broken stick, you can jump slash with it, but you can't crouch stab with 0 sticks at the end, I think.
Oh, okay, I see it now.
So, I mean, presumably you can still just do a multi-cycle Goma just jump slashing her. I don't see why that wouldn't work.
That would be annoying.
Yeah. And yeah, you saw it. Mike Katz realized it. He did 2 jump slashes.
So how does he kill the offspring now, with the bomb shoes or the nuts?
Can't you jump slash him?
You might be able to. I suppose that would work.
I mean, I know you can crouch stab them, and crouch stabbing is doing jump slash damage, so... Oh, or you can nut, apparently.
I wish I knew that.
Nuts, continually proving better than expected.
Seriously. Nothing but a heart piece on the shooting gallery game.
See if Deku is the wonderful medallion that you hope it is. Ooh, Ice Cavern Way of the Hero. Well,
First slingshot on Goma.
is that GTG also Way of the Hero?
I did not see that. I was looking for... Nope, it's Zora Sapphire that Mike Katz is getting from Deku Tree, so not exactly worth it, except for the bomb shoes.
Fun fact, if you do Deku Tree before talking to Zelda, you have to talk to Mido on your way out. He just gets in your way. If you talk to Zelda, he's like, we're cool. Okay, so that was Ice, GTG, and Kokiri Forest, all Way of the Hero?
Yeah, I think the hookshot was pretty obviously Way of the Hero.
Hookshot and Strength there, so... And ooh, thank you for the raid, Markio Bros. Hope you all enjoy this. This is the NA Weekly accessible race for the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time Randomizer. For anyone that just joined.
And it is also a tournament qualifier for the upcoming Season 2 tournament.
Yep. So for anyone that doesn't know how that works, the first 3 finishers in any race set the averaged... their time is averaged, and that's the time everyone's racing against. And you can get 1,000 points if you get that time. And any time faster or slower gives you more or less points based on that average.
Loss is saying not upcoming. Well, these are the quals. The tournament brackets is what I meant was upcoming. I guess I wasn't very clear. But yeah, we are in it.
And yeah, and the way it works is you can take your first 8 qualifiers are what counts. Your best score is dropped, and then your 2nd through 5th score is what's used to seed you.
And Frogs 2 just happened to be dead.
Yep. And yeah, Cloud Ike doing the early adult route, while Mike Katz did his Deku Tree, and now he gets to check all the bomb grottos.
Just a red potion Cloud Ike's finding, not the Rudo's letter that he would want.
I mean, a bottle's kind of useful.
Oh, it absolutely is. Bottle strats are the go-to method.
Oh, and Richard gives us a paperweight. How useful. Richard's mom must really love us.
Serious song.
So Serious Song is one relevant check, considering Lost Woods is barren.
And just a recovery heart up there in the windmill.
Yeah, that isn't going to get picked up unless someone's truly desperate.
Can't imagine anybody would need it that badly. Be easier to just whack some bushes and hope for some hearts there. Some bomb shoes in Impa's house.
So that's useful. Bomb shoes. Your first set of explosives is always very nice. Mike Cat's actually found the 20 stack of bomb shoes, so that's been really nice for him. I don't know exactly how many Cloud Ike got. I know there's like one 20 stack, one 5 stack, and then a bunch of 10 stacks out there. So you always hope for the 20, and you always hope you don't get the 5.
Light arrows in the graveyard shield grave for Cloud Ike.
Oh, that is a required item. There is no way to skip that. And
No.
just a piece of heart on the ledge up there, so don't have to worry about that.
And then he's gonna go chase Dampe around in the undead world for a little bit.
My cat's waffling a bit like, do I pick up this huge rupee or no? Decided ultimately to grab it.
Definitely, I probably would have left it there. If I really needed rupees fast, that would be a very easy go-to place. Maybe not easy, but I had to keep it in the back of my mind.
And in the meantime, Zelda just taught us Song of Storms. So that opens up the well.
Bottom of the well is a trap.
As well as a couple checks. Yeah, it is probably a trap. It always is. Except the few times it's not.
Where's the trap card? We need the trap card.
Streamer!
Actually, we can wait to post it until somebody actually goes in.
Yeah. Until we're actually sure it's a trap, otherwise we look silly. Dampe giving a full heart container. A bit of an upgrade.
And Exodus is going to look for some chickens.
Yep, this is a little bit nicer if you have a shield. You can shield drop them for a little bit of speed. And if you shield drop the chickens that are the correct chickens, they just fall through the floor. Because they're supposed to like fly off your hands whenever you grab them, but if you shield drop, they just don't have collision for that. So they just fall right through the floor. Get out of your way.
That's interesting to know.
And also, the chickens you've picked up already can be Z-targeted. The other ones cannot.
I didn't actually happen to see what he got from Malin, so... Or Talon, whatever the heck his name is.
Yeah, he's Talon. His daughter is Malin.
Dampe not really having anything too terribly useful. Heart container is pretty nice to have, but not required, and neither is that gold rupee.
And Exodus finding Song of Time on Malin, so not the most important song to find. Although I'm sure chat's
already speculating about whether or not we'll have to go into the toilet.
Logically, Song of Time does quite a few random things, but in terms of practicality, it's the river and the toilet. So to kind of keep track of where everyone is, by the way, Cloud Ike went for the early adult route and did his adult Kakariko and is going up Death Mountain area. Might go in to do Dongo's Cavern, which just has a full heart container on the roof.
Or possibly double defense, we can't tell.
Yeah. Exodus and Zupal doing the standard child route, finding Bigoron's sword in the back of the Lon Lon Ranch silo. It's a nice find.
Definitely going to crawl through that hole and pick that up for sure.
Well, Mike Cat's doing the same route probably, but started off by doing Deku Tree.
Yeah, he's just a teeny bit behind from that, but the other runners may dip into Deku Tree at some point, looking for items.
Yeah, and Mike, a little crazy with his time of day here, going for Boulder of Destiny despite it being nearly nighttime. 50 Skulls is dead.
Rip.
My cat does make it in time, though. Barely. It's nighttime when he made it in.
Well, I guess you'll just have to drop Richard off real quick. Go get his paperweight. And Exodus, it looks just like, is heading towards the Deku tree at this point.
Yep, that's a common thing to do right after you do Lon Lon Ranch. My cat's checking his hints outside this Temple of Time. Might be a sign that he's gonna go adult, but no, he just walks away. He just wanted the hints.
Zupal was buying sticks like the shop was going out of business.
I mean, sticks are really nice.
They
Like,
definitely
those are top shelf curated, like 100% sticks.
100% stick. Not even wood, just stick. I have to wonder if that little getting hit by the keys to get knocked up top of that ledge was intentional by Cloud. That was like an intended strat to skip the climb.
I don't know. I know, like, when you're in the graveyard, getting hit by one of the pose can be a faster way to get out of the animation of pushing the graves. So it might be. Might be something similar like to that. Having a bit of trouble with his pot, though, so any time he might have gained has already been lost.
Hitboxes!
Yeah, not having any trouble getting the jump onto that little ledge, though.
With the setup, it's fairly easy.
And yeah, that jump makes Dodongo's Cavern so much easier. It means you don't need to worry about the bow or the slingshot as a requirement for this dungeon. Mike Katz, I think he accidentally pushed that block too far. Because he looked like he was about to jump off and he's like, wait a second, this doesn't work.
Dodongo's Cavern is just full of bloopies today. And Cloud's gonna use those bomb juice strats to light up the eyes and go take care of King Dodongo. Oops.
Don't think you wanted to be there, Cloud Ike.
No, and he didn't hit the switch, so he can't get back up easily.
There is a strat for getting bomb shoes in the eyes from the ground, but Cloud Ike either doesn't know it or doesn't consider it valuable, so he's just gonna leave. You saw him trying to backflip up a little bit, but his Z-targeting kept getting messed up by the BMOS.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. It would have been a small, like maybe 2-second time loss to hit that switch, and you don't think you need it until you do.
Yep. But he does find the Zora tunic outside of Goron City.
Which may not really be required. We know water is a medallion, but the Zora tunic is really only needed for one check, and that's in the central pillar in the water temple.
Also, incidentally, the only place where you need iron boots instead of gold scale. Logically, you need the iron boots no matter what, but in practicality sense, you can do everything else with the gold scale. And
technically, kind of the same thing for the Zora's Tunic. It's not really needed if you have enough hearts to survive the encounter in that room.
Yeah, logically it's required for the central pillar, but practicality, people do that room without the Zora Tunic all the time.
Zora Tunic is, however, required to make a fashion statement.
Yeah, we can only hope that we see it soon.
Let's go, Cloud. Come on. He's just getting a Skulltula, though.
Can actually do the Skulltula the easy way instead of having to, like, jump slash it and back and fall down and grab the ledge.
Deku Nuts on the top of the mountain in the crater. And Minuet.
Well, we got both of our forest access songs. A little sad that we already know Lost Woods is barren, so it makes it a little less valuable.
But Sacred Forest Meadow might have something, even though that's only 3 checks. Technically, 1 check and 2 songs.
Yeah, that's true. And it is a useful warp song to have.
It is absolutely useful. There's nothing terribly fun about having to deal with the, I believe they're called the moblins, to get through the forest if you don't have any bombs to ground jump over.
There's actually a glitchless jump you can make. On the left, where there's like a little pool of water, you can kind of line yourself up and move just a little bit to the left, and you'll jump up onto the maze.
Whatever works. I need to learn it.
Yeah, I was good at it at one point, but I tried it again recently and had some trouble with it.
Oh, and Cloud missing the jump slash to get those bomb shoes.
It looks like he's going back for it. With only 4 bomb shoes in his inventory, I can understand why he wants some more.
Graveyard is Way of the Hero.
And that is also our 4th Way of the Hero.
That's probably referring to those light arrows, but could be something else.
So that is both of our Barons and all 4 of our Way of the Hero hints already?
Yep, I've got them all written down, and I've even written down what the song hints we've gotten were as well. I'm trying to keep better track because my memory's not so good.
Yeah, and we got Nocturne of Shadows on the Minuet location.
30 skulls are dead.
And yeah, I have a little piece of paper in front of me with all the hints written down. Cloudike getting beaten back by the big moblin. The hitbox on that thing's club is crazy.
It really is.
It's so much bigger than the club actually is. Yeah, duplicate hint for Ocarina of Time song. And another duplicate Lost Woods is Foolish. Although I don't know if Cloudike had seen that hint before, so it's convenient to find it there.
Absolutely. So it doesn't go all the way through the Lost Woods and deal with everything that's in there. But he is going to get this 1 check with the Wolfos just to see if there's anything here.
Yep. Oh, and Exodus got, I think, Sun Song from Saria's song location. And Wolfos Grotto was just a bloopy. So Exodus and Zoop Pals and Cloudike all kind of in the same area, just Cloudike is an adult, and Exodus and Zoop Pals is a child.
Chad is saying that Zoopal got a bow. I'm not sure where that was.
He does have a bow. Oh, was that the Kokiri Forest Song of Storms Grotto? Oh, and We have Rudo's Letter tracked on ZSR, but not on the actual runners page. So I don't know about that. Okay, yeah, so the bow was in the Kokiri Forest Song of Storms grotto. So that makes Song of Storms important. Light arrows were in the Graveyard Shield chest. Yeah, Mike Katz is in Kakariko Town right now as a child. So doing the wonderful chickens check that everyone loves.
Looks like Cloud is about to go back child. Clean up some of that.
And yeah, so when we commentate, we watch the actual runner streams, and they usually have their own trackers up. But for the actual restream, we have trackers that watch and actually track these things. So the stuff you see on stream is what the trackers have marked.
I think that is mainly for the sake of uniformity as well, because we're watching the runners on their actual streams, and they're all using different trackers. They have different setups. So just for a bit of uniformity.
Yep, to make it look nice and pretty.
Aesthetics are very important here at ZSR.
So yeah, Cloud Ike finished his adult route, went back to child, so he's probably going to do the regular child route starting now. While Mike Katz did his child Kakariko village. And can do his Lon.
Kind of just seeing a lot of checks that we've already seen, so this is the overlap section of the stream.
So yeah, Exodus went back to turn adult, checking the medallions. While Zupal decided to go off into Goron City.
I'm guessing he's going to do the maze because he can't do the he certainly can't do Darunia's Joy yet, nor the spinning pot, since he does not have access into Darunia right now without ZL.
Yeah, so taking a look at where the medallions are placed, stone-wise, we've got Deku, Dodongo, and Shadow as stones, which means Jabu, Forest, Fire, Water, and Spirit, which is not an optimal configuration by any means. Stone Shadow is very nice if you don't have to go in it, and very awful if you have to do anything significant inside of it. Deku and Dodongo as stones you never want to see because they're really fast.
Well, Zupal just found himself some magic in the Goron City maze.
It's convenient to find.
I would say so.
Even gets to grab that Skulltula since it's a child.
And to my knowledge, he cannot do Hot Rod or Goron because he doesn't actually have a bomb bag yet. So
Correct.
that was really the only check he could do here, but it was definitely worth it to jump on in. Get this Song of Storms grotto while he's at it.
But yeah, so the runners are going to need to get most items. Shadow means they don't. Shadow being a stone means they don't need to get the hover boots. But pretty much every other item needs to be found. Like you need to do fire, so you need the hammer. You need to do Jabu, so you need the letter. You need the boomerang. You need to do spirit, which means strength 2 and mirror shield. Water, so you need a long shot. And yeah, all the runners have the big Oron sword now, I think. Or except for Cloud Ike.
Exodus jumped up on that little side ledge there, whatever you call that. Saw that it was a recovery heart and was like, nope.
And Mike just got his bow, I believe. Yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't get the pleasure of Resident Sleeper today since Lost Woods is barren.
Yeah, they just get to skip it.
And they get to skip the mask trading sequence too, though, which is pretty nice. That's a lot of running around. And
It feels so weird for Lost Woods to be barren, because there's so many random checks there.
It really does. You usually end up going through Lost Woods a few times, trying to get everything. Zupal's collecting some skulls.
Yeah, making good use of that slingshot. While Exodus is in the graveyard right now. Gonna pick up his light arrows. As well as his Dompe money. Presumably. And yeah, Cloud Ike doing the trick that where you roll into a wall and see up on the first frame after your roll. And lets you look into the wall. You can use that to check the freestanding items in a couple of locations. Like Exodus is doing this right now to check the graveyard. So Cloud Ike found a useful item with his trick and got it. Exodus found a useless item and said no thanks.
Well, he wouldn't have been able to get that one anyway, so... Not yet, anyhow.
Yeah, you need the beans or the boomerang or the long shot.
Zupal's gonna see what Dampe wants to dig up for us. Since Graveyard's Way of the Hero, this is a pretty good play, I'd say.
Yep.
That's Rudo's letter.
Well, they say you should full clear your Way of the Hero locations and not just rely on the first item being Way of the Hero, and this is an example of why.
And he has Sunsong too, so it wouldn't be a bad idea for him to check that Sunsong grave.
Zupal's like, oh wow, 2 items.
He's just grave robbing right now.
And yeah, that Redead Grotto where you play Sunsong is like such a random check. Cloud Eye picked up his bow.
Sunsong is just one of those songs that you don't get it all the time, and so sometimes you just never really make it back to this check.
Yeah, unfortunately for runners, they are not allowed to use wrong warps to just get into Ganon's castle.
Wow, and Ferror's Wind in the graveyard as well. Not a required item, but absolutely useful.
It is technically required for 1 skull if you don't have hook shot. If you don't have long shot.
I mean, I guess if we needed all 100 skulls, then that would be necessary.
Yeah. But yeah, there's 1 skull in Water Temple where you need to Furrow's Wind back to the central pillar after you raise the water. And that lets you get the skull with hook shot instead of long shot. So every once in a while, it's technically Way of the Hero. Very rarely.
Alright, Zupal's gonna come in and check what that 10 skulls has for us. If anything.
Making use of his nighttime to get a Deku Nut.
Let's put some nuts in the chat if you've got them.
Man, what a way to reward someone who put so much effort into saving you, and you're like, Here's a nut I picked up off the ground. Hope you like it.
That would really suck if you were allergic to nuts, I guess. Pretty much all of our runners were opening a chest at the same time, within mere seconds of each other.
See, that was the Goron City Song of Storms grotto that we just checked on Mike Katz's end, and that didn't have anything. So for the most part, we've seen everything that our runners are doing right now, I think.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything new at the moment. Wondering if Exodus is gonna check the shooting gallery on adult. Or no, he does not have his bow yet. Never mind, he will probably not be doing that.
Yeah, I hope not. Because he'll just get some money if you do that. You only get the actual item if you have the bow.
I actually didn't know that you could do it if you didn't have the bow, so that's interesting. I kind of assumed that you just wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, for some reason you can do it without the bow, but you'll just get the generic money reward instead of whatever the actual randomized result is. And Zupal decided to go up Zora's River now. I don't think he got Ruto's letter, so that's a shame. Yeah, Ruto's letter was Stompe digging. No, he got the letter, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he was the one who did, because he got all those things in the graveyard.
Yeah. So this makes sense then. You get the letter, you go up. Especially since you know Ice Cavern's Way of the Hero, so you do need to open this up at some point.
And there's an arrow up there on that pillar in the river, so not getting that. And he'll probably check and see what the frogs have for him and when he plays Song of Storms. Megaton Hammer on Frogs 1.
Well, the Frogs 2 might be dead, but Frogs 1 is very much alive. That is a required item for this seed.
How do those frogs hold that heavy hammer?
Maybe they just hit it underwater. And like they all work together to move it around.
Maybe it was the current.
Maybe it just lodged against their little ramp.
Zupal unfortunately having to come back down the river for the chicken. It's always frustrating when that happens. And he may have to actually use chicken strats to get into Zora's domain if that's what he's attempting to do. Since we still have not found Zelda's Lullaby.
Yeah, what song locations haven't we checked? I mean, there's Prelude and... There's Prelude and Nocturne locations. There's the Desert Requiem location.
We've seen what Song of Storms is, haven't we? That was
yeah, that was Saria's song, I think.
Okay, and we saw Bolero.
And we know Ice Cavern is Prelude, and we know Ocarina of Time is Serenade. So yeah, it's got to be one of the Medallion songs or on Requiem, I think. Requiem, another song we haven't seen, actually.
Right, they might actually have to go... They might have to do Gerudo Fortress first in order to be able to get that, though. Or to get any song, for that matter. Zupal, pick up the chicken. Nope, there it went.
I was still down here.
He's lucky it didn't land in the water. Chickens,
yeah, the
they don't swim well.
I think if they land in the water, they just like start flying upwards. It's kind of dumb.
Physics is definitely weird when they hit the water. Like, they'll float for a little bit, and then when they hit the wall, they'll like fly. It's weird. Either way, you watch it and you rage for a little bit, and then you go back and get another one.
Cloud Ike's gonna get his Rudo's letter in just a moment. Just played Sun Song for the time and Nocturne to get to the graveyard.
Exodus also opting not to hit the switch into Dongo's Cavern. Let's hope that he doesn't meet the same fate as, I don't remember who. I think, was it Zupal or was it Cloud?
Cloud, I think. And yeah, Zupal making it into Zora's domain. Not picking up the Full Heart Container or Double Defense, whichever it is. I like to imagine it's because he's like, I lost this chicken twice. I'm not taking any chances.
I would probably feel the same way.
Exodus does open the Dongo's mouth, so could go and get this check and actually clear out this dungeon. This is 2 checks Exodus can do that Cloud Ike was not able to.
And Zupal's gonna go diving for some rupees.
We haven't found Ziel yet. Squid Kingdom.
Technically, Zupal is out of logic here.
Yep, you need Ziel to get in here through logic, but turns out chickens don't care about logic.
Logic schmogic.
Logic is not boring, logic is fun, but only because you like to examine the shattered pieces you left on the ground after you broke it to figure out what things are expected out of you. Light arrows were in the graveyard, in the shield chest.
Rather healthy speed here. There's been quite a few heart containers hanging around for our runners today.
Well, been somewhat healthy, but with the runners avoiding some of them and not, like, they only have a couple extra hearts on most of them.
A theoretically healthy seed.
Yeah, one of the hidden penalties of freestanding items is you just end up not getting a lot of random heart pieces and stuff.
Mike's picking up his hammer, and now it looks like he might be trying to make some money.
Zupal finding his second bow. So just a quiver upgrade. While Exodus gets the silver scale, which does actually put Zora's domain into logic.
But you have to enter Zora's domain first, so does it really?
No, Exodus got it from Dongo's Cavern.
Oh, I don't know why I'm thinking of Zupal, who I was looking at.
Oh yeah, I guess no bombs yet, so actually finishing the Dongos is out of logic. As much as bomb chews might look like bombs, they don't actually count. So logic goes, nah.
We also have not found any freestanding ice traps yet. No fools yet. Definitely, we've had some from chests, but none of the oh so amusing "you are a fool" message.
Yeah, it's very fun when runners find a hook shot, get all excited, go pick it up, and not a hook shot.
That was a few races ago when it was down in the Tektite Grotto, and so they got the message that they were a fool, and then they had to float all the way up before they were then frozen. So it was
I remember that, yeah.
time for some salt buildup for sure.
And also, I think that was the run where Monstrous saw it as a child, went to adult to go grab it. Like
Yeah.
skipped other checks to like do that faster.
Yeah, I remember that because I think he was on the
Yeah, I think I was doing commentary of that run. It was
That
very
was-
entertaining. And then he
It
also got
really
trolled
was.
by Silver Gauntlets later in Ice Cavern, which were not Silver Gauntlets, as much as they might have looked like it.
They were just a little bit chilly, that's all.
And I think last week there was Silver Gauntlets and Hookshot that were trolls. But yeah, so I don't think there was anything in Zora's domain, but the hammer on the way up means you can probably full clear fire now.
You can definitely also full clear forest, which would probably be my play. Shot bow and a strength upgrade. That means I'm going to forest.
Yeah, plus we also know Ice Cavern's Way of the Hero, so they should have to do that at some point.
And it's not the song, because that song is Prelude, and Prelude doesn't open up anything. It doesn't open up anything that a quick adult save warp wouldn't.
Yeah, Prelude and Serenade, the two songs that unlock literally nothing. Even Minuet sometimes unlocks something.
That may just be, which is just another song, so. But that song could be a very useful piece of music.
Yeah, well, Minuet lets you get past Mido in Logic. So if you don't have Minuet or Serias, you can't actually get to the Sacred Forest Meadow as adult.
Well, logically speaking.
Yeah. There's a reason why Mido Skip is a very useful thing to learn.
Boss key early in Forest Temple. Not what you really want, though, because you can't really skip anything in Forest Temple.
Yeah, although at this point, you're going to get everything in Forest Temple, so it doesn't really matter where it's laid out. If you're just dipping, you want everything to be in the first chests, but when it's a Medallion Dungeon, you're doing everything.
Now we get a little closer to the end here, and if we haven't gone into Fire Temple, they're going to want that early boss key and hope that they don't need to go through Deep Fire.
Logic's just fun to talk about, because, I know, one thing I've always liked about randomizers is breaking the logic and then thinking about what the logic actually wanted you to do and figuring out like where things are because of that.
I also look at it this way too, like Zelda games are all like, they all have puzzles, and I mean, if you want to solve puzzles, Randomizer is just one big puzzle.
Ooh, oh
no! Rip!
Cloud taking a death to Stalfos. Stalfos are very dangerous.
There is actually a fairy in that room, so he does not have an empty bottle, but he has a red potion that he should probably think of using next time.
You know what it is. Cloud doesn't have a shield, and he's like, this is a mistake. I'm going to go buy a shield and come back. And speaking of shields, Zoopol just found one. The archery game had the mirror shield.
That's a good thing to get.
Now, hopefully, Cloud remembers that he has the shooting gallery to do and picks up a mirror shield that way. Come on, Cloud. Yes! He's gonna be happy to find this.
Yeah, he won't have to actually buy one. Team never buy a shield wins again.
And yeah, those Stalfos are no joke. They do a lot of damage, and they're really a pain to kill. Especially if you don't have a shield. Like, I've learned, like, I have to get a shield before Forest Temple. It's so much easier when you can crouch stab them.
They're just, yeah, they're very difficult to deal with, especially with their jump slashing. They definitely abuse that mechanic.
Yeah, Exodus finally getting his bow, so he can just go into the Forest Temple now too. While Zupal is having a little bit of trouble on the rotating windmill.
It looks like Zupal actually did change his tunic, so it's a kind of a lighter chartreuse kind of green.
I've never heard chartreuse before. I will trust you on that. I was thinking olive. I was thinking olive green.
Maybe a little bit more yellow to be olive green. When I think of olive green, yeah, terry color, because that's what we wore. It was olive green.
Arjun, it's a race between the runners. There's actually a bunch of other runners that are also racing, not just these 4. I think there's like 100 or something. It's a very big race right now, actually, compared to some of the others. But these are just the 4 featured runners.
Yeah, we could not possibly feature all of the people running the race. First of all, the screens on the restream would be absolutely tiny, and second of all, I think that that GT Angel and I would probably, like, our eyeballs would just like fall out of our heads from trying to track all of that.
Yeah, I think they'd give up first. Just you wouldn't be able to. It'd just be lots of little like tiny squares you can't see.
Yeah, you'd have to have like a huge TV size monitor in order to be able to even see anything, I think.
So there isn't a prize in general, but this is actually a qualifier for the second accessible tournament. So the runners, based on how they do, can actually get points, and the runners with the highest points at the end of the qualifier season will be going on to the brackets. So they're all fighting for a place in a tournament that I think the last one had a bit of a prize, a bit of a crowdfunded prize. I don't know about this one yet.
Not to mention, the winner of the last tournament gets a special color of his own in the Discord. And of course, bragging rights, as Chad is saying.
Yeah, the previous winner, ATZ, gets all the bragging rights.
ATZ is trying to defend his title. He has been doing a couple of... he's done one qualifier. I don't know if he's in today's. I'm not entirely sure.
Bragging lefts are only available to lefties. You can't lose them or gain them any other way, so it's not relevant for this context.
What about bragging in ambidextrous, though?
That's not a thing. You're not allowed, it's illegal.
It's illogical.
So yeah, Zupal showing off a funny thing you can do. So crouch stabbing in this game is a little wonky. It takes the damage of your last attack. So that's why people will jump slash and then crouch stab, and you get jump slash damage. But if you do an attack with the hammer, your crouch stabs are now considered hammer attacks, and so you can break boulders with them. So Zupal used that to break a bunch of boulders faster than the hammer would. Check to the left of the Goron maze. In the meantime, Cloudite and Exodus both very close to each other in the Forest Temple. Just a couple seconds away.
Pretty easy to see how linear a dungeon is when you have 2 runners taking pretty much the exact same route.
Yeah, Forest Temple. There's a couple ways to get through the block room and the Wallmaster room. Rainbow Bridge is not actually vanilla. It is all medallions. Technically, in vanilla, you only need the Shadow Medallion, Spirit Medallion, and Light Arrows.
We've got Zupal here dipping into a Fire Temple. Actually could beat it as long as he's able to do Volvagia quick enough.
Yeah, well, you can also pick up some fairies right outside Volvagia's room. Yeah, that gives you a lot of extra time. Oh, so the if you run on Virtual Console, then you'll be automatically using the updated symbols for the blocks and mirror shield and Noke chanting in the Fire Temple, I believe. So that's why you see Cloud Ike and Exodus with different symbols on their blocks. So yeah, Cloud's the one on DC, because originally they had the crescent and star and chanting in the Fire Temple. I like the Fire Temple chanting, it sounds cool.
Squid. Oh, chat.
Yeah, Zoopal just finished going through the hammerlocked section of ground floor of Fire Temple. Exodus and Cloud Ike both doing Forest Temple stuff. I know one of them set Forest Wind. I think Exodus. Maybe both of them.
It's very hard to say who's in first place right now. They all have the same number of medallions and stones, but they're all in different places, and nobody really has emerged in a clear lead at this point, because all of them are doing required areas. Well, I mean, Dodongo's Cavern is a stone.
Yeah. It's with randomizers, it's often hard to tell who's ahead until later on in the race. Just because there's so much we don't know that a lot of things can make what one person did more valuable than what someone else did.
It really does come down to, if somebody finds something that opens the seed wide up, and if you don't find that one thing, then you're going to immediately be behind. You're going to have to run around looking for that thing.
And it's all the stuff like how often people have to double dip locations, or just how awkward it takes them, like how efficiently they can get from one location to another. So like, Zoopal's gonna have to do what Cloud Ike and Exodus are doing at some point. And that's another thing that makes it hard to tell who's in first, is a lot of times someone will seem ahead, and then like later they'll go check a bunch of things that the other person did, and you're like, oh, actually they were about equal. So Exodus in this room with the Stalfos. It is very unfair that the Stalfos can walk over the empty area in the middle, and you can fall down the empty area in the middle.
Yeah, that's really just, they don't have hover boots. What is this?
I remember as a kid thinking, oh, that just must be an invisible floor, because they can walk over it, and falling, and having to climb back up, and being very sad.
Okay, I just want to point out that if this chest holds hover boots, then I lied, and they do have hover boots.
Well, you're not a liar, don't worry.
No, I'm not. It's just a bloopy. That room does lag. I agree with you, with John 1E. That is a laggy spot. After you kill the first one, it always takes like a minute for my game to catch up. This is not quite glitchless. There are some glitches allowed. Not as many, but there are some glitches allowed in this rule set. Basically, the easy glitches, which is why it's called accessible.
Yeah, so a lot of the glitches that are allowed are things that replace a more difficult glitchless strat. Like ground jumps are really easy to do for most people, but a lot of the glitchless jumps they replace are really tricky.
Alright, is Zupal gonna make it before he runs out of time?
Nope.
No! But he has a fairy. Safety strats.
Yeah, it's very useful to know that there's a couple fairies in the room in front of Volvagia. Because you come in here without the tunic a lot, and it makes it so much safer.
And I used to just get those myself for the actual Volvagia fight because I used to struggle with it. I didn't know as a child that you could climb down the side like we do now, and that would have saved me a lot of time not getting smacked by rocks.
Yeah, it feels unfair. It's like, wait, I can just do this, and then the rocks don't hit me? What?
Definitely it feels bad to have been playing this game for 20 years and realize that there's so much about it that I don't know. And that's what's been really cool about watching Randomizer.
Ooh.
So many little things about the game. Ooh,
Exodus just found the long shot. Long shot, an item that often eludes you for a very long time, so finding it early is very nice.
And finding it in a medallion dungeon is also very nice, and not having to go into stone dungeons. Exodus showing off how wonderful fast block pushing is. And although this room is timed and it was meant for the slow block pushing, the developers of Randomizer have said they are not adjusting that timer. There's no reason for it.
It's not like the timer was particularly harsh in the first place.
It really wasn't.
As long as you understood that the one block wasn't required. Anything in stone dungeons is always a little rough. Stone spirit can be particularly rough, although spirit's valuable enough item-wise that it's a place I'd be willing to check. Deep stone fire is always rougher.
Deep stone fire and deep stone water are just yuck.
Stone shadow is not a good place either.
Right, because there's no skipping of
anything.
Yeah, you have to go. There's only one way you can really go in Shadow Temple.
So it looks like Fire Temple is not bow locked. He had an extra.
Zupal playing it safe so he doesn't fall.
Yeah, that room is scary. It shouldn't be, but like if you fall, you have to go all the way back up. It's such a pain. And as for a lead, it's hard to say. Like Cloud Ike and Exodus are in about the same spot. Exodus a little ahead in the dungeon. But Zupal's doing Fire Temple, which is just as required. And Mike Katz is... I think that brought Ace back. Hope you guys can hear us. I think Ace went AFK by accident and got kicked out of the channel.
Oops.
And yeah, I always like the 4-person randomizer races. You get to see a bunch of different things. And ooh, Zupal. Zupal finding the silver gauntlets.
So now he can do Spirit Temple as long as he can get over there.
So this seat's shaping out to be pretty nice. Like, that's a couple items we found in medallion dungeons that are required.
And he's knocking the torch slug all the way down the hole. That probably feels pretty good. How many times has that torch slug knocked me down a hole?
Ooh, Zupal having some texture issues.
Yeah, that's some weird Goron mustache, looks like. What is that? And chat saying that there was a Kokiri sword in the Forest Temple. No worries at all, Nintendo 641. We are here to answer your questions. Everybody's new at one point. Feel free to jump in the fun at any time. It's very fun to play Randomizer.
So yeah, Zupao gonna go do Volvagia. Common thing to do in Fire Temple, because there's so many keys and not as many checks, is you get the boss key and then you just go kill the boss and leave. And then you really, really hope you don't have to come back. But he is gonna grab at least one fairy. He has a few bottles, so he could grab another bottle, another fairy if he wants.
I kind of agree with him actually getting one for his health right now. He has two fairies, so...
So yeah, RJ, on all the items are randomized. The songs are randomized amongst songs. And within dungeons, the keys are and boss keys are in random locations, but only inside their own dungeons.
There are settings, though, where you can randomize songs. You can randomize the skull tokens, and you can randomize the Deku scrubs and the shops. There are a lot of options if you really want to play a challenging deed. Exodus got shanked by one of the moblins.
Oh, and we found bombs from Phantom Candidates, I think.
I believe that is what chat is telling us. I missed it while I was watching Supal.
So that's a little convenient. It only technically opens one thing that the bomb chews don't, but it does put everything into logic.
Now it's time to do some bomb chew bowling, obviously.
Oh yeah, it opens two things, I forgot. That and the Rolling Goron.
Using bomb chew strats to kill Volvagia.
Bomb chew strats are crazy and also very effective.
Unfortunate, though, that you can only hit Volvagia per cycle with your sword.
Yeah, needed more bomb chews. Yeah, for anyone curious how that, like the bomb chews and stuff work on Volvagia, whenever for the cutscene when Volvagia is like jumps around and flies into a hole at the start, the hitbox is still there. So they just kind of put it aside when they're done with it, and it happens to be kind of right next to the front little crater hole, so you can bomb that hitbox, which is hilarious. So normally people use bombs. Bomb chews are actually faster because you can blow them up with nuts.
Tuhu, there's a little bit of variance in what songs people have, so it's kind of hard for us to say which songs they have. I believe mostly everybody has Minuet. 3 out of 4 of our runners have Nocturne. They all have Serias. They all have Sun Song. And they all have Song of Time, looks like. And not Song of Storms. I think one of our runners might be missing Song of Storms.
But yeah, the important songs that are missing, Zelda's Lullaby and Requiem. No one has Epona's song either. So those are kind of the ones that are important that are missing. Although with Longshot now, Epona's song doesn't actually unlock anything useful, because we know Gerudo Fortress is barren. So no horse archery. So yeah, Cloud Ike and Exodus finished their forest, while Zupal finished his fire. I imagine they'll just like switch to the next one, and yeah, you see Zupal going forest right away. And it looks like Exodus is going down to do the South Grotto stuff. I thought he got this grotto before. Yeah.
Yeah, that seems like a weird choice to check that a second time. That's pretty much the first thing you do.
Yeah, he might have just like forgotten or just mixed up which grotto he was at.
Right, Cloud is going over to Gerudo Valley, so he's going to be clearing out the fortress real quick, which only requires one carpenter in our settings. And then he may or may not dip into GTG. No, he will, because GTG's way of the hero.
Yeah, it's a shame that he doesn't have the silvers from Fire Temple, so he can't full clear it yet.
Right, I do kind of question why he's come this way. I mean, he doesn't know that silvers are in fire, but he also would need silvers to do the Spirit Temple, so he may just be thinking that he might get them in GTG, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably just going here because it's way of the hero and he's close enough. I feel like I would rather go Ice Cavern, and he did open that up, I believe. While Exodus doing the Lake Hylia checks. I imagine a big reason for this is just to get the Scarecrow, just in case you need to do Scarecrow Song and Fire.
Yeah, we did not get a hint about Pierre today, so he may be required. Him and the rest of Deep Fire.
The goal is to beat Ganondorf in Ganon, which does require getting all medallions to spawn the Rainbow Bridge. To get into Ganon's castle and then fight Ganon.
Yeah, it does not look like actually Cloud opened up Zora's Fountain because he still has Rudo's letter.
Oh, in his inventory he does?
Yeah, I just saw it when he was in his menu.
That's a shame. Yeah, Mike Cat's also in Forest Temple right now.
Exodus using Scarecrow Song. He's going to climb up the lab and see what kind of lovely item happens to be hiding for him there.
Yeah.
He's got to kill the Gwei first, though.
What was the Gwei bodyguarding? Stupid little crow. Was guarding a red rupee.
And perhaps he will run over and do adult fishing, or?
He did that already?
Oh, he did. Okay.
I don't know. Whichever person made the Gweis, always hover around just close enough that you need to kill them, but not close enough that it's obvious when you start. Maybe they're the one that made them immune to nuts. Anyway, Cloud Ike in GTG. Haven't seen any important items from him yet.
But we do know that it's Wave the Hero, so there's something here.
Well,
that
that's
would
Iron
be
Boots.
Probably it right there. Now the question is, do you try to full clear it even though you don't have all the items required, or you just decide that you're going to come back at a later point?
You're here, you might as well. Actually, he can do the toilet. He has the hook shot. He just got the Iron Boots. He has Song of Time.
And he has Zora Tunic to make it even that much easier.
Yep, not required though. A moment ago we couldn't do the toilet, but it has since opened up to us. The wonderful world of toiletry.
The wonderful world of toiletry sounds like a college textbook if you were learning how to be a plumber. I don't know if plumbers go to college, but
maybe at a trade school.
Yeah.
Or maybe like an engineer who designs toilets.
Where's Engineer 124? We should ask him.
And yeah, Cloud Ike equipping that Zora tunic. It's the same green color that Zoopal has on right now.
Alright, subs, let's get some of those ZSR toilets in the chat because it looks like that's where we're going.
Toilet has lost a lot of its allure in 4.0 though, I feel. The fact that it's so easy to do with quick swap boots makes it... I don't know,
It's a little bit more trivial.
less magical.
Yet there's still a ton of shit in there, so...
Yeah, I mean, what the hell is Ganon eating?
Honestly, I mean, that's worse than, like, if you go to Taco Bell. If you're pooping those out.
You need to see a doctor. If this is what your toilet looks like, you need to find a doctor. No, toilets aren't magical. This toilet is magical. It's a difference. It's like how the wardrobe in The Lion, the Witch, the Wardrobe is magical, but your wardrobe is just boring.
I mean, I suppose if my toilet had silver coins floating around in it, my too. Speaking of which, is the silver coins actually giving you 5 rupees? Is that a randomizer feature, or has that always existed and never knew it?
I have no idea.
Because I noticed it when I was playing, that I was getting 5 rupees for silver coin that I picked up, and maybe I always just had max rupees, so I never noticed it.
I had no idea until you just talked about this.
Yeah, Ace is saying in chat that it did that in vanilla too. There's
a big bomb bag.
Toilet wasn't completely useless, although this was not going to be anybody's first logical bomb bag.
It is better than the average toilet.
So Ganon was definitely dropping bombs in the toilet.
Yes.
Oh, the toilet jokes, they never go away. I teach middle school. I don't know why I act like a middle schooler.
I think you're supposed to. I think teachers are supposed to like reflect on the people they teach. Like I've always heard that like elementary teachers always like seem more childish.
That's probably true. But at least one thing I will not share with my middle school students, I will not douse myself in Axe body spray instead of taking a shower.
Oh god. So Exodus also went into the GTG so both of them deciding to basically do the same route. Exodus just taking the detour into Adult Lake Hylia. While Zoopal and Mike both in Forest. Zoopal did do Fire already. So Mike kind of a little behind in terms of progression compared to the other runners right now. Although he probably has done some other things to kind of make up for it. Usually what happens early on in these seeds is if someone looks like they're behind, it's because they did like a bunch of random overworld checks or something. And then like an hour later, like they'll catch up as if by magic because other people start checking all the things they checked earlier.
Yeah, it's not quite as straightforward as say like a NASCAR race where you know who's in first. I really hope for Cloud's sake that he doesn't run into an ice trap. Although, for chat's sake, I hope that he does.
I think he can survive an ice trap. I think you can take only half a heart of damage from them.
I died to an ice trap a couple seeds ago.
7 small keys, that's all you need for that. There's 2 more small keys in the dungeon, but you only need 7 to get all the items if you have Ocarina of Time, if you have Song of Time. Ooh, and Cloud
Oh no!
falling and dying.
Rip.
Yeah, voiding out is not a thing that does half heart. It does a full heart. I mean, it's probably smart to void out then anyway. He doesn't have Scarecrow Song, so he'd have to do that room twice, or skip a chest if he didn't void out and have to game over.
Right, unless he was lucky enough to get a heart or a heart piece in there, in which case it would have saved him.
Rudo's letter was on Dompe digging, Mirror Shield was adult shooting gallery, and Iron Boots are in GTG on the right side of the maze. So I'm interested in what Zupal and Mike Katz are going to do after this. I think for Zupal, going Ice or GTG is probably smart, because you want to just get your way of the heroes out of the way.
Right, and he has what he needs, Zupal, to beat the Spirit Temple, so if he goes to GTG, he can take care of that as well.
Yeah, for him, going GTG and then walking across the wasteland is probably smart.
He'll have to do it lensless, though, as he does not currently have a Lens of Truth. That should be probably a problem.
Hopefully not. Most of the featured runners can generally do lensless wasteland. I don't know about Zupal specifically, but hopefully.
And Zupal picking up his long shot. And Cloud Ike's going to go through the maze, same as Exodus is already doing, while Mike Cat is going to take care of Phantom Ganon.
Phantom Ganon's a cool boss. I always liked him as a kid, even if he creeped me out.
The thing about Phantom Ganon is that his volleyball seems a little bit more difficult because he moves, unlike regular Ganon. So it's sometimes a little bit more challenging to time it.
Yeah, as a child I was always creeped out by the paintings thing, especially the fake ones. I didn't know how to tell them apart.
I had that problem too. Now that I know how to as an adult, it's a very simple, trivial fight. Now it just kind of reminds me of Harry Potter a little bit.
Yeah, for anyone that's not aware, the like bright areas on Phantom Ganon aren't there for the fakes. So you kind of look for the lighting effects, and the one that's brighter is the real one.
It looks like Iron Boots were that way of the hero in GTG, but we were not able to see what was the block in the like room.
And yeah, I didn't know how to tell them apart until I started Randomizer as well. So Exodus is deciding to go across the wasteland. Does not have his silvers, so he isn't going to be able to do the dungeon, but he's going to get to the song.
Yeah, he also doesn't have the mirror shield yet either. Hopefully this song will allow him to get back quickly.
Yeah, and Mike taking a break. And yeah, given the songs they don't have and have available to them right now, there's a very large chance that this song is either Requiem or Zelda's Lullaby. And either one of those is a good song to find.
I think, assuming that you don't have to come to the Spirit Temple as a child, that I would much rather get Zelda's Lullaby than get Requiem. As long as I only have to come to the Spirit Temple one time as adult, then it's not really a big deal.
Yeah, although he probably doesn't care as much just because he's going to have to come back here anyway.
That's true. I would probably not personally take that move of coming out here, going through the wasteland, unless I had everything I needed to be Spirit, but That's a routing decision made individually.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, if it's Requiem, then you had to do this anyway. And if it's not Requiem, it's likely going to lead you to Requiem. It'll give you information if it doesn't. And you get the hint stone, you get to see what's on the arch. Not too bad.
Speaking of which, I do wonder if Zupal has been back to the Temple of Time yet. He has not done his prelude check since he got the Force Medallion.
And Exodus finding Requiem on Vanilla, so you do have to cross the wasteland. Like Cat's working on getting into Fire Temple, not having much time. And that's a DQ stick on the arch, looks like.
I missed it, so I'm not sure. Yeah, I would agree with that. Getting usually thinking that I'll have to come back to Spirit Temple as a child, and I'll be keylocked as adult.
Exodus debating whether he's gonna go child or play a song.
Nothing's really wrong with Child Spirit. When you're doing Randomizer, especially when you're racing, you want to minimize backtracking. So you'd rather just be able to get the keys that you need, or the key, I should say, in order to access the rest of Spirit Temple as an adult, instead of having to go back to the Temple of Time and then go child and then get to the get out to the Spirit Temple and do all that and then go back adult again. It's time consuming, which you don't want to be spending a lot of time unless you absolutely have to.
Yeah. A lot of it's just the adult-child transitions take a lot of time just to do. So anything that involves an adult-child transition is going to take a while.
Especially if you don't have Prelude. Prelude is not really a required song, but on Child, then you have to get to the Temple of Time quickly, which sometimes is not really feasible.
So Cloud Ike is doing his Lake Hylia checks as adult, using his iron boots to grab the diving in the lab.
Exodus just got that mirror shield.
Spirit Medallion is actually vanilla too, I didn't realize. So, Spirit Temple Medallion and Song both vanilla. When Zupal finds Zelda's Lullaby on Prelude, so Fire Temple is required to do early enough to get ZL. ZL might not actually be required. There's a chance Water Temple can be completed without it.
Runners are probably hoping for an early boss key in Water Temple. Although there's still plenty of items out there left to get. Not many, though. We need... we know where the iron boots are, and we have those. We do need a boomerang for any of our runners.
Is boomerang the only thing we need, right?
I think so. I mean, runners at various states, but I think that the only thing that we don't know collectively is where boomerang is.
Hessing is not allowed in the accessible rule set. You gotta rock places. But if you like Hessing and stuff, there is a no item manipulation wrong warp tournament going on Speed Gaming. I don't know exactly when their next race is gonna be, but that just started and there was one yesterday.
Oh, right. B. Luigi's pointing out that Ice Cavern is still Way of the Heroes, so I'm betting that Boomerang is probably hiding there.
Well, you say that, but there's this thing called Lens that no one wants to see there.
Oh, geez. Yeah, that's why Marco has an emote. Marco Way the Hero. And it's the lens. And I just posted it in chat.
And Goron Tunic, yeah. Either one of those could be Way of the Hero. Same with the wallet. Wallet does the same thing as Goron Tunic in this case.
I like seeing lens too because I still need it for some of my checks, but our runners really don't need the lens for anything. They are capable of doing everything that technically requires lensless, with the exception, of course, of the mini game in Kakariko or in the market.
Unless you're an RNG god.
Yeah, which nobody is an RNG god, not even Blizzard.
Mike Katz has tried before, I believe. And my thought on lens is I like seeing lens as long as it's not in a Way of the Hero location.
Yeah, I feel that way too.
Because I can do lensless wasteland and stuff, but I'm not super confident on lensless wasteland. So if I have to do that without the lens, I get a little worried.
Yeah, like I'm not mad if I get the lens. I'd rather see something else. Hovers are not required in Logic for the seed because they are for the Shadow Temple, but they are very useful.
I think so. If you get key locked really early in Fire Temple, they can be required to get into Volvagia's room. But I don't remember the key. I think you had enough keys to get up to the top, so you were fine and didn't need hovers for fire. And I mean, technically, it's always possible that the boomerang's hidden in the back of Shadow or something. Oh, Exodus jumping a little early there.
That would be just plain awful. Because if Boomerang is in Shadow Temple, then we need to find Din's Fire and Hover Boots.
Or maybe Fire Arrows and some maniac goes for it.
Oh, God. I've seen that only once in a race, and it was an ordeal.
Oh, wasn't that like Hamsta did it once, and it took him like 20 minutes? And
yeah.
Then he came first out of the restreamed runners because of it.
Yeah, and Din's Fire was in some. I think Din's Fire was on.
It was on Shoot the Sun.
Yeah, it was. It was like so just. Oh God, why didn't I just check that?
Exodus doing bomb shoot bowling now. For anyone that doesn't know, there is a strat to this. You just let the bomb explode on you, and it gives you the right angle. It's amazing.
Or if you're me and you don't know the strat, you hope that the chickens don't get in your way as you fire it off straight on.
Well, now you know. You back up a little bit, face forward, hold out a bomb shoot, and just let it explode on you. And then you hold Z and you have the angle and you're good.
There's Din's Fire, so a dip into Shadow is not unheard of.
Yeah, if the runners get stuck, you can always do the first couple checks in there. You really don't want to see that. The way the seed's shaping up, it looks like you might just be able to go to Ice Cavern, grab your boomerang, and be great.
This could very easily turn into a trolley all dungeons, though. We're hoping that that's not the case, but I've been debated by a couple seeds that I thought were going to be easy in the past.
Strength 2 is in Fire Temple.
Actually, this chest coming up that Mike Katz is about to hit, I believe. Yep, that's the one. And Cloud's picking up his magic, finally. The last of our restreamed runners to grab that.
And Zupal is showing us the 4 items in GTG we haven't been able to get before. As well as showing us the amazing immortal likes with their heads made out of solid metal. And ice trap.
Ice trap. Isn't that vanilla? I think there's an ice trap in that room in vanilla.
I have no idea where the ice traps are in vanilla. I'm not gonna lie, I don't have any memory of them at all. There's a bomb shoot.
The way that red rupee was situated, it looked like it was actually in the chest.
And a rupee, so nothing of value back here.
Silver gauntlets were not required for GTG.
So yeah, Mike Katz did pick up his boss key.
Is this Exodus? This is his first run up Zora's River, isn't it?
Yup. He just got the Ruto's letter a moment ago.
Still no ZL for him, though, so he's going to have to hold off on that or use the chicken.
Chicken strat's actually really easy. You just kind of slide along the wall to the left.
It's kind of nice when you get a fish in a bottle. You don't have to go catch your own, and so that you can go straight into Jabu Jabu, and you get a free bottle out of the deal.
Yep. And yeah, hookshot. I don't know if hookshot jump is extended anti-gravity or not, but it's definitely not allowed.
All right, we've been live for over 2 hours. We need to drink some water. Hydrate.
I have Coca-Cola instead. It's like water, but tasty.
I already had my soda with my dinner. I had some delicious nachos. Nothing but healthy eating here at ZSR.
Lens cannot be on Bongo because Lens is required to get to Bongo. But it could be Boomerang on Bongo.
It could also, well, it couldn't in this seed, but it could in some seeds be ice arrows on Bongo, which is disappointing because you want ice arrows to do Bongo.
Yeah, if you use ice arrows on Bongo, then his hand freezes and he like punches it with his other hand.
Hey Sean, thank you for Googling that. That actually was an ice trap in vanilla. I was not mistaken.
And yeah, Toho, for the settings we're using, Lens of Truth is required everywhere. So it is required for all the invisible stuff. The only exception is the first invisible wall in the bottom of the well, because you're expected to go through it without the lens in vanilla. So they kept that.
Cloud having just a bit of trouble with Bomb Chew Bowling.
Access doing the nice strap for Torch Run where you kind of fall. Mike Katz finally gets this jump over to Volvagia.
Actually is a pretty easy jump to make if you get the setup right. The first time I did it, I was super impressed with myself, and then I kept getting it, and I was like, oh, maybe it wasn't that hard. I'm not that impressive.
I haven't noticed the validation rupee.
I haven't seen it yet either, so I don't know if we're feeling valid man yet.
I also haven't noticed the winner heart piece, but I'm a commentator, which means I'm legally obligated to be blind.
I am currently wearing my glasses. It might help if I took. Then I might just get a headache. Exodus is farming some rupees. It looks like he just didn't quite have enough to do the diving minigame.
It's always sad whenever you get to like one of those minigames and it's like, wait a second, I need money. Why did no one tell me about this?
My worst is in the market. Because if I don't have a sword and I don't have bombs, then it's not terribly looped. Then I can't go in the pot room. So, I mean, I can climb the chains and get the 20 rupees that way, but it's like, oh, dang it. It's so far away.
My worst is always fishing nowadays. I always get there with no money and go, crap.
Yeah, because you go to fishing so early now. That's like the go-to route is you go straight out of Kokiri Forest to go fishing. And if you didn't get any money in the chests in Mido's house, then you're kind of screwed.
You can like farm all the money on like the regular route pretty easily, but like if you weren't thinking about it, then you can easily get stuck and just be like, oh.
That's true. If you get bomb bag early, then you need additional 60 rupees in order to do Bombchu Bowling right away and see what's on that.
That's why you just go in there at nighttime and say, I'll do all this other stuff later.
Yeah, I kind of just, I'll go up there, I'll go get the egg, I'll go get my song, and I'll come back for it, because it's not like I'm never coming back to the market. Oh no, Cloud missed the jump with the chicken. We're having all sorts of chicken troubles today.
Oh, but his chicken's still here.
Oh, but not for long. Oh god. Hurry up.
Chicken's trying to run.
Oh no.
He angled himself so the chicken would run into the corner there. He's like, please don't leave me. I'm so lonely. And Exodus has opened up Zora's Fountain. Gonna check his hint.
Yep, 50 Skulltulas is good for Team Never Buy a Shield.
I don't think we've seen the 40 skull hint.
We have not. I've got 30 and 50 written down, but no 40.
Oh, and Cloudite getting frozen.
Exodus setting Pharaoh's Wind and Jabu Jabu. Get back here quickly once he gets the boomerang.
So yeah, that's actually a 4.0 thing. You can set Pharaoh's Wind as child and adult, and it's separate points for each, and they don't get like overwritten when you go through time. So that's actually really useful for Jabu Jabu.
Yeah, it takes so long to get to Jabu Jabu. It's really nice to be able to do that. You can very easily just go into the Deku tree and tap that Pharaoh's Wind.
I've also seen people go into Shadow Temple and then warp out, because you can go into Shadow as a child. Can't do anything there as a child, but you can Pharaoh's Wind out of there.
That's fair, and it's a lot more convenient than actually entering the Deku tree, because you don't have to walk as far.
Ooh, and Mike Cat's picking up Epona's song in the Composer Grave. Found ZL from Prelude location and then used that to get Epona's song. Not actually a useful song.
No, and probably not considered way of the... Found 3 other things in the graveyard. I think it was 3. We got the light arrows and a couple other things that are blanking my mind right now, but we had a rather stacked graveyard.
Yeah, it was light arrows. It was strength, I think. No, not strength.
What was it? Now it's bothering me. I can't think of what it was.
Letter.
That's what it was. Dampe digging was letter.
So Zupal has made his way all the way down to Spirit Temple. So we're going to find out if Child Spirit's required or not. Well, Exodus has opened up the ice cavern, so he's going to go back to being an adult. I don't think he went Child Spirit, though.
No, I don't think he wasn't able to do any of Spirit, so he got his song and he dipped out.
And yeah, Mike's making the play to Ice Cavern, so using the fact he opened this already to his advantage.
I would say right now that Zupal probably has a slight lead, but there's still so much time left and so many things to do that it really could shift. And that boomerang is going to be the make or break for our runners at this point.
Yeah, I don't remember if Zupal opened Ice Cavern or not, but I'll be right back in 1 sec.
Okay. It looks like Nehru's Love is in the back of Ice Cavern. Or the, not Ice Cavern, the fountain. Brain not functioning properly at the moment. And Mike is not picking that up. Doesn't need it. Meanwhile, Zupal's getting himself an upgrade for the Deku seeds for his slingshot.
I've returned.
Welcome back. You didn't miss much.
Nothing super exciting then?
No, Nehru's Love in the back of Zora's Fountain. Mike Katz did not pick that up, and Zupal got himself a Deku Seeds upgrade.
So this is the last check Zupal can make in here, I think, unless it's a key.
Yep. Hopefully it is. But we've seen enough of these seeds to know that he doesn't have a fantastic chance of being able to continue the dungeon. Nope, child spirit is required.
Not too bad considering that you had to get the song anyway. Nope, that was a 40 skull hint. Piece of heart.
Alright, so skulls above 20 are all dead at this point.
So that makes all of the difficult checks dead, I believe.
Yep, because I have Big Goron, Dead Hand, and Bottom of the Water Frogs 2, and the top 3 skulls hints all dead.
So what is Zupal going to do now? I think going ice is the best if he has it open.
No idea, but I'm looking at his tracker and I see that he has 4 bottles, which is definitely nice to have. So Cloud Ike's dipping into Jabu Jabu, hoping that the vanilla boomerang chest will contain a boomerang. But if nothing else, you can get Rudo up to the top level so that you can continue the dungeon.
Yep. It is a bit of a time loss, but it's not as bad as it seems, just because getting Rudo up there does save you time on your second trip. So,
and now, chuck Rudo at the switch.
Yep, her head is very good at kidding switches.
It is rather wide.
So nothing in Ice Cavern just yet. But the last item has to be the Way of the Hero item. It's the last one that's considered part of Ice Cavern, I think.
Yeah, because we know the song is not Way of the Hero.
I think it might be possible for Blue Fire to be Way of the Hero, to unfreeze King Zora.
Ew.
Which, I mean, it doesn't change much.
No, it doesn't.
I'm not sure about that, though. That might not be.
Yeah, we have chat saying no.
I'm surprised Zupal's going around checking these overworld chests when he could just go straight over to Ice Cavern.
That is rather confusing play.
Because you only need one item for Go mode, and you have a Way of the Hero that you haven't been to. And, like, sure, it could be, you know, Goron Tunic, Wallet, Lens, but it could also just be the Boomerang. And if it's the Boomerang, you'll feel really silly for every check you made before you did. Because you're like, I knew.
Unless he didn't get that hint, but...
I think that hint was outside of the Temple of Time.
But he also has, like, his tracker, his own tracker. He has, like, a list of the hints that he's checked on his stream, so... It does say Ice Cavern, so I don't know why he wouldn't just go there. Alright, Boots Chest, what do you got? There it is.
The Boomerang!
We're in no mode at this point.
And the prelude to conveniently take you back to childhood.
Which is probably what I would do right now if I were my cats.
I think my cat's is figuring out if he's in go mode or not.
Actually, well, he has a blue fire. Maybe he's contemplating checking and seeing what King Zora has. But I don't think he needs... Oh, he still needs iron boots according to his tracker. So maybe he feels like that's something.
Yeah, then you might as well unfreeze King Zora.
But we'll see.
Go GTG. Well, I think it might be better to do Child Spirit and Jabu first. Not sure. But Zupal going into Water Temple. As long as he just completes Water Temple as fast as possible, I think this is a fine choice. You do have to do it. But if he sticks around after the oh my god. My cat just found the lens of truth on King Zora.
Oh no.
Well, I mean, that tells him that there's only one thing that can be in... Two things that can be in GTG. 3, I guess. Wallet, Goron Tunic, or Irons. So that is actually a good thing to find there.
At least it wasn't one of the things taking up one of the Way of the Hero hints, though, since Water Temple was not listed as Way of the Hero.
But yeah, as long as, like I was saying earlier, though, as long as Zupal does water as quickly as possible, I think this is fine. I think if he keeps checking things after he gets the boss key, then it's not a good play.
Yeah, only just getting the keys required for him to continue in the temple. Because if you have to lower the water level, then you need keys to get to certain places. But other than that, there's really no reason for him doing a lot of checks unless he absolutely needs to find that boss key.
Yeah, the thing with water is there's a lot of chests, but there's a lot of keys. There's only actually 4 items in here. And there's 6 keys. And then the boss key is 7, so... Like... You have 11 locations and 4 keys. 4 items. Your chance of getting an item in any chest is pretty low, which is not worth the time.
We also didn't get a hint for the river chest, so that could be the boss key. Hopefully not, but we did not get a hint indicating that that was dead.
Well, he has Song of Time, so it's fine.
Right, it's just a pain in the butt to get to, is what I'm saying.
Well, that's our 3rd bomb bag.
Not what you want to find there.
Yeah, but if it's not the boss key, that's a decent 2nd. Or 3rd, I guess. Like, you'd rather find the boomerang, but...
My Cats is going to do GTG, and then he's going to get his iron boots, and then he'll be in go mode.
Yep. And Exodus picked up his silver gauntlets. So he just needs the mirror shield and boomerang right now.
Really a pretty straightforward seed at this point.
Yeah, the way the hero hints this seed were really powerful. Knowing that you have to go to Ice and GTG just cut down a lot of time, because you just checked those and everything else was kind of on the way.
Right, and I've personally found when I don't know if Ice Cavern is required, I always kind of second guess myself while I'm there. Or say GTG less so because there's so many chests there, but when it's Ice Cavern, it's so out of the way. I'm like, do I really need to be here? So knowing is really, really powerful.
Especially if you go up the river when you don't have Ruro's letter, or like you just don't never go up there and you do your child 1 and child 2.
Right.
Because then it's not just like go to Ice Cavern. It's go to like Javu area as child, go back to adults, go to Ice Cavern. It just takes so much time to set up when you could just go GTV and get more checks.
And GTG is comparatively so easy to get to. Like, all you have to do is deal with the one guard in the carpenter room, and then you have access. I think the only time I would prioritize Ice Cap over would be if I had to do Wasteland first. But that's just if I had to do like Reverse Wasteland to get to GTG, and that's only because I don't know Reverse Wasteland, so I would probably prioritize Ice Cavern in that regard.
Ice can make more sense if you're near the location or and like you've already opened it, or if you need songs. Because like Ice itself only has 4 checks, but there's 2 outside of it and 1 at King Zora, so like that is 7 total locations. It's not that bad.
That's true. It just feels bad, I think, is what it is. And my cat's picking up those iron boots, and now he knows he's in go mode. Or it looks like he's contemplating that. And he is noping on out of GTG.
So yeah, Mike can just go through the dungeons one by one. I don't remember if Mike went to... I don't think Mike went to Spirit yet, so he's going to find out he has to go to there as a child.
Yeah, no, because the only way he would have been able to get to the Spirit Temple would have been this through GTG, or through Gerudo Fortress, and he just now did it.
Yeah, gate's closed, so he definitely hasn't been here, but conveniently, he is right here.
I did not know you could do that.
Ground jump. I did not know you could do that either.
I
thought maybe Mike was like doing some glitchless, glitched like damage boost, and was like, Mike, this isn't no item manipulation, wrong warp. But then he ground jumped, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I didn't know you could ground jump up there and skip that. That's crazy, actually.
I mean, most of the time it's not that important or that valuable because you can always reverse Wasteland to go back, but only if you've opened the gate.
Right.
Because if the gate's closed and you've already made friends with the guards, you just get stuck.
Oh, those soft locks.
Not quite a soft lock. You can go back into the Wasteland.
Yeah, but I mean, you're kind of...
But yeah.
You're not going anywhere. Zupal's checking our favorite Zora Tunic required room. Honestly, with getting Zora Tunic where they did very early, indeed, and it was on in Death Mountain Trail, probably not a far stretch to imagine that something is needed from this room, which is the only logically required room for Zora's Tunic.
Yeah. Getting something early doesn't always say it's going to be required, but it does wink, wink, nudge, nudge a little bit.
Yeah. And I mean, if you have it, you might as well use it.
That's why it's always scary in a seed whenever you find, like, the boomerang really early. You're like, please no.
That may mean you need a lot of skulls.
Or just going into Jabu Jabu, you're like, please no.
Speaking of which, though, even though the... Yep, there's the boss key, but even though we know that the paperweight is just a paperweight at this point, does it still, if you get it early, does it still indicate that 40 and 50 skulls are probably in logic?
I don't think so. I don't think it's required for them with the hints available.
Well, that's good to know, because whenever you get that, it's not something that you want.
Yeah, back whenever you needed Stone of Agony to get any hints, all of the difficult locations were locked logically behind Stone of Agony, so finding it early was always terrifying.
Yeah, I remember
you needed
that.
it for. You'd be like, okay, what's the troll now?
Getting Stone of Agony in Mido's house, you'd be like, oh, fuck. And there's our 1 F-bomb per run, so this is still PG-13. according to the Motion Picture Association of America.
Is that still the guideline? I don't think they use the one swear word guideline anymore, but I do remember there were like some things where I think there was like some movies or whatever where like you could swear once.
I don't know. I'm just being a smartass. I'm very good at it.
Do they still use it? Well, fuck. Now we can't be PG.
Let's get some gasms in the chat, and then we can't be even rated R. Zupal is going to be the first of our runners to do the water temple today, or to complete the water temple and to deal with Morpha.
Yep, well, Mike has just found out that you do need to be child for spirit. So he plays the handy prelude he got earlier.
And Cloudike just tight-roped his way into the map. I believe that's the map chest in Fire Temple. Zupal missing that one cycle.
That's rough. Morpha's such a cool boss, and we see almost none of it.
Yeah, now that I know how to do the easy strat on Morpha, it's really nice not getting a tentacle wrapped around me and getting thrown across the room.
Yeah, you just grab it and that's it. None of this like back and forth, like long fight.
Oh, Cloudike fell in Fire Temple.
But he can furrow his wind back.
Does that work? Will that put him on the upper level?
Let's find out. Yes. I think it brings you to where you entered the room.
That's amazing.
Safety.
I wish I had known that.
Safe.
Farrar's wind just got a lot more valuable.
I know some people use it up here, and then when they go down to check the shortcut area, they furrow his wind back up. So it sets it to the last door you opened, or you entered through.
That's really, really good to know. Simple mechanics that really just make the game a lot easier.
Yep. And Cloudike has opened his silver gauntlets. Mike Cat's going through Child Spirit. First chest is a blue piece. This next chest is a small key. And I think you do keep going because you don't have a fire source. So you grab your small key and then you go to the main room and keep climbing up. Do the couple fire-locked things, then go adult. In the meantime, Zupal did finish his water temple and is now doing diving in the lab. Cloudike is in Fire Temple, and Exodus is in Ice Cavern.
Looks like Cloud is heading towards Volvagia. I didn't see him get the boss key, but
he did get it though. And first, he's grabbing some fairies. Yeah, Mike Katz is doing the climb. And I can kind of understand Zupal doing this stuff. He's here at Lake Hylia. He might not be back here.
Right, and he is still missing an item, so it doesn't hurt for him to check while he's here instead of thinking he might have to come back later.
Yeah, he does need to go to ice. That is the only thing he's actually waiting on.
We did have a seed last week where people finished Water Temple and then the light arrow down diving in the lab, I believe. Which almost everybody skipped and then had to come back. So kind of makes sense. Do it while you're here instead of coming back for it later.
I don't believe any of the races are finished. As long as As long as the bot's on point, it tells in chat whenever someone finishes.
We should probably expect to see some racers finishing fairly soon.
So Mike looks like he's trying to set up flame storage here. So flame storage, and yeah, he messed it up. So the way flame storage works is as you put away your stick, if it goes through a fire source, then it stores that flame, and the next time you pull out your stick, you can, it'll still be on fire. So you can use that to get a flame in places you're not supposed to have a flame. In this case, it just saves you a little time. You don't have to do the whole block pushing puzzle. Or the silver rupees, I mean.
Zupal using nut strats to keep from losing his shield to a fire keys.
Smart. Yeah, and Mike Cat's the other way to set up flame storage is to use an item like the slingshot that looks around. So you can see how Mike didn't have to collect any of the silver rupees in this room. Just has a torch lit and finds red rupees, so he resets.
Three of our forerunners are in Spirit Temple at the moment. And rip Zupal's shield. If any of you are subbed to Torj, you can put Torj F in the chat for a burning Deku shield.
It was so majestic. Why did it have to die so young? So yeah, Mike Katz Froze winded back into Jabu Jabu. That'll be the last thing he has to do as a child, then he can be an adult for the rest of his life. So Zupal does decide to go and check the rest of Child Climb. And yeah, I don't have nearly as many fancy emoticons.
I spend probably way more of my paycheck than I should on Twitch every month. I'm just looking at chat. Do I need another channel that weighs $4.99 on? I don't know. Have. Post them in the chat. Oh my god, it's a pug.
I thought it was a spider when I first looked at it.
Yeah, it looks a little, it's a little difficult to see on the dark background. So my Cats is the first runner doing Jabu Jabu, so we get to see if there's anything at all in these chests. He won't even check them though, will he? Because he's in go mode?
No reason for him. Like, he has the Bigoron sword too, so there's literally no reason. Like, the only thing he could possibly hope for is more hearts or double defense. But that is not valuable enough.
everyone over there in chat flexing their affiliate status.
There was a month where I got gifted ZSR sub, but no longer. I can't do any fancy emotes anymore.
Rip the toilet for you.
There were a couple times when I had Prime, could sub to things and get it, but once again, no longer. So interestingly, Zupal not save scumming the keys he used in Spirit, so he might actually spend a little bit more time here when he comes back as an adult.
And Cloud Ike's gonna check Tektite Grotto. It's just some bombs. How do those bombs, like, still ignite if they were sitting in the bottom of, like, a huge, deep pool of water?
It's a waterproof bag, obviously. Oh, thank you for the gift sub. Now I can use all the wonderful emotes.
Oh yeah, I get that a lot too, Faith, but since I'm doing commentary, I don't think there's going to be any confusion as to my gender today.
My voice tends to be androgynous enough that people assume I'm a guy sometimes, but whatever. Yeah, everyone knows that wonderful guy named Brend. Like, hey Brend. Don't you know all the Brends?
I mean, if anything, I would have felt like Brendan, but not Brend. That's not a name that I'm aware of. Is that like a new trend name?
Calm down, Brendo.
Yes, Andrea, I am a Hugh man. Androgynous is like big vocabulary now? I mean, I know I'm an English teacher, but like, damn, really?
I mean, it's 4 syllables. That's like 2.5 more than the average American knows.
Wait, no, quarter pounder with cheese. That's 6 syllables.
I think they'll just say like a number 2. None of those are more than 2 syllables.
Number 2. You mean like what's in the ZSR toilet?
That's dumb. Oh my god.
Once again, we are so mature. We're so mature.
I mean, mature is only 2 syllables, so people can understand it at least. So Mike Cat's on Baronade. Let's see if we can get the clean fight. It always looks really nice to get the clean Baronade fight.
And let's pray that he does not need to resort to pot strats.
Well, he has 6 sticks, so he shouldn't mess up.
Right. You can't... I don't think you can do the broken stick in Jabu because the walls are not solid, which is kind of annoying, but...
He's nutted a little bit too fast in the second phase, so... stuff didn't actually get spread out.
He nutted a bit too fast. I'm sorry. We're back to the immature right there again.
Nutted
Although
prematurely.
I think you did that on purpose, if I'm being honest.
I didn't actually.
And that was a clean Baronade fight.
Yeah, messed up on the second cycle just a bit, but was really fast.
Premature nut and all. That is one very satisfied Baronade.
Just melted into a puddle on the floor.
I'm not cleaning up that wet spot.
When Exodus finds the boss key, so just needs to make his way up the climb now. In Spirit Temple, that is. That was one of the 2 ZL-locked chests.
And I don't think Exodus needs to find anything else, so he should be able to just basically bust his way up, right? I don't think that he's in go mode, isn't he?
I think so. And just a note, they did find gold gauntlets in Adult Spirit, so those are those two strengths they found earlier are the only 2 available strengths before Spirit. Now you're just showing off in chat now.
I like how you use wherewithal to complain about big words. I mean, if Mike Katz has the lead, I mean, the other runners are right behind him. I mean, at this point, we have a lot. They're all really close, and they're just all in different places right now. It's very hard to say. We have 2 runners with 4 medallions.
Yeah, Mike hasn't finished Spirit yet. So Exodus might be ahead or even with Mike. It's hard to say.
And Zupal still needs to go to Ice Cavern and get his boomerang, so that's going to take a little bit of time, even though he's going to finish Spirit. Probably the first out of our... No, not even first, because it looks like Exodus is going to be first.
Oh, Mike's going... I was wondering where Mike was going, but he's probably going to water.
It's kind of confusing because on the stream that we view, we're seeing their trackers, and they're all using different trackers, which all have the medallions in different orders, so I'm looking at it and comparing, and it just hurts my brain a little bit.
Yeah, this is where the power of having a second monitor helps me. I can just look at the main restream.
I could too, it's just that sometimes my computer doesn't like to do 2 things at once, so I'm just keeping this one up.
The boomerang was in Ice Cavern. Brendoodle, that makes me cry on the inside. Please stop it.
And Zupal getting wrecked by Iron Knuckles. And
No shame. Iron Knuckles hit really hard, and it's really easy to mess up, especially if you go for the fast strat of, like, there's a spot under their left knee you can crouch, but, like, you have to keep repositioning, and if you mess it up, they just hit you.
Yeah, and I, be careful that they don't knock you into a corner, because had that happen to me today. And Exodus is doing Twin Rova.
Yep, I think he missed the last shot, but got that one. And now it's Twin Rover time. Fusion! Ha! We have become slightly bigger, but much more easily dealt with, Twin Rova.
We're all like in agreement that pretty much all the women in this game look like drag queens. Like Twin Rova, definitely a drag queen. The fairies, drag queens. Like, that's some serious drag queen makeup that Twin Rova's got going on here. I'm sorry, nobody wears eyeshadow all the way up to their eyebrows like that. It's just too much. Yes, and the Breath of the Wild Great Fairies are absolutely drag queens. They're fabulous, but yeah.
What about Malin, though?
Malin might be like the only normal chick.
What about Zelda?
So not all. It was overly generalizational or whatever. I don't think that's a word.
And Zupal, unfortunately, having to keep checking things in Spirit Temple. Well, pretty much everyone else gets to, or not everyone else, but Exodus and Mike Katz get to just ignore things at a certain point.
Strangely, and Lost in Breath of the Wild, adult Link is a crossdresser too. Although he makes a really pretty woman, so.
Yeah, I don't know much about Breath of the Wild. I haven't actually played it or seen much of it, but I have seen the Gerudo outfit for Link, and he rocks that.
I agree with that assessment that Link is a twink.
Cloud just deciding, screw this, I'm out for a second there. After falling twice, Cloud has decided, I'm going to nut this thing so I don't die.
Probably a good idea. With one heart left, though, let's hope that he doesn't get wrecked by the Stalfos. Or the pots.
Well, the pots drop hearts, so as long as they don't kill you.
Yeah.
It's such an aggressive way to drop hearts, though. Like, what the heck? Because, like, I think it either does the same amount of healing as it does, or heals you more.
I think you'll get, like, back a quarter of a heart or something. I don't know.
It's so aggressive. It's like, you will take this!
Link's like, ow, no means no.
And Link's like, ow, actually, that feels pretty good.
It's like vaccines. Like, they hurt when you're getting them, but and you actually wanted them.
Yeah. That way a Stalfos doesn't stab you to death in one hit anymore.
Yeah.
That's what vaccines do, right?
Yeah.
They protect against spooky skeletons.
Yeah, of course. I mean, obviously. Oh, Twin Rova being Troll Rova.
Yeah, this fight can be a little rough.
They're acting like a split in bowling.
One over here and one over there. But he gets that hit, so good job, Zupa.
That was actually really quite skillful. And also getting really lucky on that last one, because she was way off to the side.
Yeah, she just went further to Link's left. Not have worked. So in the meantime, Cloud has gone back to being a child, played Nocturne, and is presumably going to go... Or actually, he might have already turned in the Rudo's letter. Wait. Oh wait, no. Hopefully he turned in the letter and then went to Spirit. I don't remember if he did. But it looks like he's going back to being an adult, so... Should go to Ice Cavern as adult, and then be able to just clear out the game from there. While Exodus is in water right now, is in go mode. So, while Mike Katz is also in water and also in go mode. So I think the difference here right now is that Exodus has done Spirit while Mike has done Javu. But they've both done but Mike did do Child Spirit earlier, so he just has to do the adult side. So for them, they're pretty close together in terms of progression.
Yeah, it's really going to come down to execution and basically just travel time at this point. We're still waiting for a first place finisher. We have not had one in... But we should expect that to happen pretty soon, I would say.
Yep. And yeah, Zoo does not have the boomerang, neither does Cloud so those two need to get over there. While Cloud checks the Hyrule Castle ferry and gets his hover boots, I believe that was.
Yeah, he just marked them on his tracker. Nice to have, but not required in the seed.
Yeah, there's a couple rooms in water that I can speed up.
I like them for Ganondorf as well, just, because of all the space on the floor. The hole that you have to traverse sometimes.
Well, if the runners know how to do fast scan, you don't really need them.
That's true.
Especially with the big Goron sword, it shouldn't be too hard to do a one cycle. Exodus doing nice gainer to get to this floor in the water temple. Nice little strat so that you don't have to come back here.
My cat's getting his boss key, so he's gonna leave Water Temple and right back. Take care of Morpho. He may have to change some water levels first, though. I'm not sure if he's done any raising or lowering.
Race is going well, Wolfman. Mike Katz and Exodus are both in go mode, while Cloud Ike and Zupal just need to go to the Way of the Hero Ice Cavern to get their last item.
I don't think anybody's checked this chest that Zupal's checking, have they?
Nope, and just a DQ shield. Enjoy your vacation, Wolfman.
I am super envious of your vacation. A heart piece on the light arrow check.
One of the better things you could find there. Oh, ATZ finished in first place with a time of 2:30.29. So that is our first place finish.
I was wondering if he was racing today. He sat out the last couple qualifiers.
See, I'm not too surprised. I felt like with a little bit better routing, you could definitely shave some time off of Mike Katz and Exodus's runs. They both spent a decent amount of time checking Overworld when they had progression and Way of the Hero hints.
Josie, we decide based on obviously if somebody's using a mic chat, we don't use them on the restream, their sound. And then other than that, we'll just kind of usually ask in the IRC, we'll ask the people who are being restreamed, and typically the first one to answer will be the one whose sound we listen to. Unless their audio is like glitching out or something like that. And Boomerang was in the Iron Boots chest in Ice Cavern. Mike Katz is going to have to deal with Dark Link.
Yep, just using one nut strat, and now I have to do something else. Once I learned the look away and... Oh no, he had enough nuts. Never mind.
Oh, Zupal. Oh no. Missing that ladder by just like a hair. And getting his revenge though with a bomb.
I didn't actually know that worked.
I found out that bomb shoes worked on those guys, so it doesn't surprise me that bombs just wouldn't... I guess you'd have to be pretty good at that whole process to get the bomb to go off when you want it to. Yeah, I'm not sure where Zupal's going, actually.
He might just be taking the shortcut over to Zora's River.
But he doesn't have scale.
Doesn't he?
It's not
He
marked
has
on
Iron
his
Boots.
tracker.
He has Iron Boots.
Oh, okay. It never occurred to me to use Iron Boots to travel that way, but that makes actually a lot of sense.
Yep. No reason you can't. Underwater. But yeah, it does feel weird because you're just so used to that being a scale thing.
Yeah, like it just I can't believe it. Like,
So yeah, Zupal, however it's pronounced, is going to be getting his boomerang shortly, and then he will be in go mode. And all he has to do now is Jabu, so once he gets his boomerang, he can just go do one dungeon and be good. ZL was Prelude check. So you needed to beat Fire Temple, and then you got it.
we still haven't found a wallet on any of. They all
Yeah,
have
everyone's
99.
everyone's poor. Exodus doing a nice jump up to the top level in Water Temple. Gonna be finishing a little bit after Mike. A little bit more than a boss fight ahead on Mike's end. In terms of Water Temple, that is. Zupal, you can do this later. You can do this when you leave Ice Cavern.
I mean, he literally has one thing he needs to find. I don't know why. And he knows Ice Cavern is way the hero. I don't doing this. Unless he must think that he's gonna get lens or something in Ice Cavern. But still, I don't know why you wouldn't just go way of the hero first, and then if you don't find what you're looking for, then you try other checks.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand like doing stuff that's really convenient or really out of the way if you put it off. But like, you definitely need to prioritize the way that you're like you can do this after. Like, there's no reason to not go into Ice Cavern right now. This is just a mistake.
And now he's going down to the bottom of this big pool here, this pond, I guess you'd call it, and for nothing, literally.
Yeah, and like the thing is, you can do this right after Ice Cavern. It's not like it's any slower to do it later. And yeah, one of the locked doors in water did have the lock moved. That's the one that takes you from the third floor to
second to third, I think.
It's the one that takes you from the third floor to the ZL location, I believe.
And then the one in Fire Temple behind the hammer block thingies. That one has a key in vanilla, but does not in randomizer unless you're playing Key Sanity.
And yeah, Mike did get gold gauntlets. We knew those were in Spirit already. He's not the first runner to grab them. And yeah, Mike just needs to do Spirit, and then he is Ganon. I don't think we've seen the validation rupee all run, unfortunately.
No, we have not, and I doubt we'll chest as well, because this is a race and you don't stop and open an unnecessary chest.
Oh, Gakshu has finished in second with a time of 3:27:20. So that is the second of our finished runners, and one more of those, and we will be able to see the points everyone gets.
Just correcting your slight dyslexia, 237, not 327.
Oh, whoops.
It's a bit of a difference.
Just a little bit.
Only an hour, you know. And probably a lot of points, actually. An hour's difference is probably like 400 or 500 points, I think, with the new point system. I don't know for sure. I'm not going to sit here and try to do the math.
Yeah. Something interesting with the point system is that it definitely biases finishing way ahead of other players compared to finishing like just slightly ahead. Because you can get can get up to I think 1,250 points.
Right, I just think of it like ATZ's probably going to have this time dropped. Although I don't know because he finished first in the other race he did as well. So what you can do
He'll
is you
probably
can
finish
kind
first
of,
in another race too. Like
yeah, like
it's
if you were to like finish a seed in like an hour and 45 and then the next runners took like another whole hour after that, then you could royally screw them out of a lot of points, but you yourself would not really benefit from it.
unless you can do it twice.
Right.
Yeah, like one run I saw, I was commentating earlier, had a first place by 20 minutes, and that gave a lot of extra points.
Yeah, this one was a 7-minute difference, which is actually kind of slow sometimes. Like, we'll use a bunch of runners finish like all at once.
So the reason they drop your best time is just to make sure consistency is valued. It's so that like any random outliers don't count.
I think they want it to be as even as possible. So if you have like a fluke first place finish, and then that somehow gets you in the top 32, I mean, you'll get wrecked probably when you hit brackets, but they're just trying to make it as even and right. And like Angel said, basically consistency. They don't want people who are they want it to be like, I don't know how to phrase it. I'm losing my words, but
They don't want someone who has mediocre times in all but one of their races, and then like one really amazing race to get in just off of that over someone who's like consistently pretty good.
Yeah. And a lot of times because rando is so luck based.
Yeah, it also means that it's a little less valuable to do like to just like every race like do just crazy gambles every time.
Cloud is having a little bit of trouble with that B mode.
Oh, and that's our third place.
Yep, I was just about to say there's Juke finishing in third. A lot of the runners that you'll see in the top they're often the same runners. You'll see a lot of these people ending up you'll see the consistency is there for a lot of these people.
Yeah, you'll see the same racers in the top like 8 or so pretty consistently.
Even top 20, you'll start to see a lot of people, over and over. So Mike Katz is finishing up his final dungeon, his final required dungeon, which is Spirit Temple. He's going to deal with Unrova, and then he's going to head over to Ganon and hopefully make short work of him. Should be pretty easy. They've got plenty of bottles and Big War on Sword.
Yep, so Mike is a little bit ahead of Exodus, who still has a little bit more of Jabu to do for Baronade. And Zupal just picks up his Boomerang and his Prelude. So he can conveniently prelude over to Child.
That is kind of nice because it is not a quick run out of the ice cavern and back, although you could just save warp.
Well, normally when people want to leave ice, you can go to the previous room with the block pushing and just void out, and it takes you to the start of Ice Cavern.
Right.
But prelude is slightly faster, just because you don't have to wait for that.
The only real reason to probably do that is if you want to unfreeze King Zor. You're in go. You have no reason to do that.
Mm-hmm. And as an update, the link I posted is the results for this specific race, and you can see the points everyone gets. So ATZ gets 1,036 points with his finish. Gakushu gets 992, and Juke gets 971.
Exodus was using a bomb chew on this Octorok instead of a stick. That was weird.
It's probably because he has 2 sticks.
Yeah, I'm guessing he needs to save them, but
We're going to see some pot strats, I think.
Yeah, I've never seen bomb shoe strats on that particular Octorok before.
So Headband, we get to see where the medallions are located before, just because it's useful for the trackers. But other than that, we don't know anything about the seed beforehand. So we are discovering it at the same time as the runners.
Yeah, and we really we don't say this usually, but we prefer that if people in chat are watching other streams or watching the race on SRL, that they don't spoil us. We want to watch this as if there is absolutely no other. These are the only four to us, even though we'll see the other finishers. These are really like they're our babies. We're watching only them.
And yeah, the only reason for the medallions, like locations, to be shown is just because a lot of times runners will go through them really fast and stuff, and it can be really difficult for the trackers to actually figure out like where everything is all at one go.
I can confirm. I was tracking last night for Dotsa. Could not see what medallions he was getting, and I stupidly didn't write it down because it was a different tracker than two.
And those are only marked once a runner has checked it. Yeah, in the meantime, Exodus on Baronade. We'll see if he can get the fast strats. Needs to pull out those nuts.
Now slow down. This is not an X-rated stream. He doesn't need to be pulling out no nuts.
Well, Mike Katz is climbing up to Ganon. Got some big, scary iron knuckles to deal with. Mike Katz not actually taking the optimal strat. You can actually just run, like if you store a jump slash and run behind them, you can just mash with crouch stabs.
They die really quick that way too.
Yep. You need Big Oron Sword to do that with both of them, by the way.
We are indeed seeing some pot strats, or we did see a pot strat.
Yep. It's much better to do the pots early than late, so that's why Exodus did that. Because later on, Baronade starts attacking faster and moving faster, and it's just harder to pick up a pot and not get zapped by lightning and drop the pot. Oh yeah, Exodus has a sword. I forgot about that. He could have just...
It would have been slower with the sword, though, wouldn't it have been?
He could have just crouch stabbed, I think.
Yeah, I don't think this is the right place to ask for that, Jaden.
So Mike Katz is on Ganon, has his Ganon killing items equipped. The bottle to reflect, the light arrows to stun, the hammer for Ganon.
And there's Marco finishing 4th place.
2:46.46. It's a nice time. And 932 points.
I like how this person added me but spelled my name on the restream.
Yeah, Mike Katz is on the Ganon part of the fight now. So we'll see if he gets sniped again, or if he'll actually make it. There's some other really good runners in this race. I see Wooden Barrel, Raikaru, Runner Guy.
A lot of people who were in the Season 1 bracket are in these races. So, a lot of really heavy competition.
Yeah, probably some others that I just haven't noticed yet, because there's a bunch of people on this list. Glitchymon is in here too, yeah.
ATZ Wind.
Winded. So Mike Katz using those wonderful hammer crouch stabs, which do master sword damage, because power crouch stabs are great. Fun fact, there are 2 enemies that take more damage from the Master Sword than anything else. Ganon is one, which is kind of obvious and self-explanatory. Like, it's kind of designed that he's killed by the Master Sword.
Right, that's kind of like the whole point.
The other one is Fire Dancers.
Yeah, when you get those junk hints, which I'm glad we don't have junk hints anymore. Fire Dancer is not intimidated by, what is it, by Big Goron Sword or something like that.
Yeah. It's one of those random.
Is it Flare Dancers? My bad.
Mike Katz is finished 249.10. Power of Katz. He has 916 points.
First of our restreamed runners to finish up. And really, we couldn't have seen that, really predicted that, because this has been a really pretty close on the restream the entire time. There has been no real clear leader at all.
I honestly thought he was probably he looked a little behind a lot of the time, but...
Yeah, he had that really weird early routing first, where everybody else left the forest. And he just seemed like he was behind, but...
We'll see if we can get him in for an interview. Oh, apparently we're all spamming our favorite cat emotes for Mike Katz.
I remember doing that last year. I mean, it technically was last year. It was 2018, but during brackets, everybody wanted cats for Mike Katz.
Mike may have said he's more of a dog person, but that's a lie. Mike is a cat. And Mike Katz said he will join commentary, so we'll probably be seeing him pretty soon.
Excellent. Yeah, we can do some Franker Z's in the chat, too.
And Exodus is also on Ganon. We kind of skipped over the Ganondorf part, but I think he did quick spins instead of the bottle.
Yeah, he didn't take a whole lot of time to take care of Ganondorf. With Big Goron Sword, it's really trivial, though.
Yep.
And Engineer 124 is our 6th place finisher, so GG, Engineer.
Hello, Mike Katz.
Hey, hello.
Congratulations
hey,
on your congratulations on your finish, GG.
Yeah, thanks.
We're 5th, I believe. Yeah, 5th. And first of the restream runners to finish.
Oh, nice.
We were questioning your choice to do Deku Tree early, but it looks like it worked out for you.
Yeah, I always do that first. It's just whole habit, I guess.
You've got that rupee farming down to a science. You know where to go for that. I didn't even know you could go in that one house to farm a blue pea.
Yeah, that's actually not very good. That's kind of slow, but I just like to keep the route constant. I don't like to bury too much. So that's why I do that, to get at least 2 sticks every time.
Probably easier that way anyway, because forgetting a check.
Yeah.
And it paid off that you got the bomb choose.
So yeah, that was really good. That was really good. I got a good stock of bomb choose. I didn't even use the bombs that much when I found them, I think.
So what did you think about that seed overall?
It was really fast. Everything, the hints were really overpowered, I think. And then the rest of the things were in the dungeons you had to do anyway. So yeah, really fast seed. Kind of good because I wanted to finish early. So good stuff.
Oh, and Exodus has just finished in 7th place at the time of 2:53.03 for 891 points. So
GG, Exo.
It's the second of the restreamed runners to finish. And yeah, it was hard to tell who was first for a while. It looked like you were behind a little bit for a while, but might have just been a lie, because At some point, you just had more stuff done.
Yeah. I think one of my best plays today was setting Aura's Wind and Jabu. I think that saves a lot of time. Because I didn't even know if I was going to have to do Jabu, but then when I checked the medallions, I realized it was a good play.
Oh, I didn't realize you hadn't checked the medallions at that point.
Yeah, I
But
didn't
yeah.
know if Jabu was required.
Yeah, that's a really nice thing about 4.0 is being able to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, we're gonna get Exodus in here pretty soon. But yeah, I feel like a lot of this seed, what I noticed other runners do is like, anytime when they had Way of the Heroes and they weren't checking those immediately, or like dungeons immediately, probably worried that they'd find the lens somewhere.
Oh yeah, the
that was-
lens kind of sucks.
Yeah, it turns out lens was on Frozen King Zora.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what else happened to the seed. You didn't find any warp songs for a while. You never even found Bolero.
Yeah. I think Bolero was it was Nocturne and CAC. Getting Nocturne and CAC would have saved some time to get that instead of Minuet. Would have been more convenient, but well, whatever.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Forget exactly what order you did the dungeons. You did, was it Forest or Fire you did as your first dungeon?
Well, I did Decotry, and then I did the Sea. I did 2 stone dungeons first. And yeah, I think I went to Forest, then Flyer, then I went into Spirit for a while, but then I need to go back as Child, so I did Jabu first and Water, and then I returned to Spirit last.
Yeah, with GTG before Spirit, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, those
it's,
Way of the Heroes
way.
were really powerful. Knowing that you had to go to GTG and to Ice.
Yeah, that's quite good because also not only that, but also that you can't have all the other stuff you need before even going to those places, so you know that you're going to be in go mode. Except for some possibility of lens troll, but luckily this time around wasn't that.
Exodus is asking how he joins commentary, and I'm not really sure, to be honest.
Oh, is he asking an IRC? Let me see. Oh, he just has to join a random voice channel, and then you guys can drag him here.
Yeah.
He came in for a second, and then he left. Meanwhile, Zupel's climbing up the tower for Ganondorf. So he'll be the next one to finish, it looks like. And Cloud Ike is going adult again. I'm not sure where he's heading. Probably Water Temple, I would assume.
Oh, there he is. Hello, Exodus. There you are.
Hello.
Hi, Exodus. GG.
Thanks.
Yo, EXO.
Hey.
So what did you think about that seed in general, Exodus?
I thought it was a pretty simple seed if you did the Dampe digging and if you knew how to cross Wasteland without lens.
I forgot about Dampe digging. That being letter was pretty important.
Yeah.
Although you got Sunsong pretty early in this seed, so it wasn't too hard to get in.
Yeah.
You also got a Graveyard Way of the Hero. So I think most people would default to doing that or routing that in somehow just to make sure and check it.
I never found lens. Where was lens?
Frozen King Zora.
King Zora.
Oh, okay.
Which was kind of funny. It's like, after worrying about whether Ice Cavern's going to have a lens and make you sad, and then it's like...
Yeah, I knew there was 50-50 whether Ice Cavern would have lens or boomerang, so I was scared.
Well, I think we thought it could also be the Goron tunic
Oh, that's true, I guess.
or the wallet, because I don't think we ever saw any of those.
Yeah.
No, we didn't see any wallets. We didn't see Goron tunic, and both of those would have been huge FUs if you had gotten them after you already did the dungeons.
But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. That's my best placement so far, so I guess I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, that was a good seed for me.
Yeah, it felt like the trick for this seed was basically just do the progression dungeons in the way of the hero locations, and like at a certain point you could just ignore everything else.
Yeah, the way the heroes really told you everything. Like, I think everything you had to do that was even somewhat out of the way was a way the hero hint, so it was literally just do your dungeons and do the way the hero areas, and you would finish, I think. I didn't really go out of the way for much. I went to Lake Hylia early for no reason, and that lost me some time, but other than that, I just did like the basic checks, and then I just did the dungeons I could do.
Yeah, I think it was like Kokiri Way of the Hero, and there was a bow in the Song of Storms chest. In addition
And
to
Yeah.
also the
strength.
hook shot in Mido's house, yeah.
The strength as well in sword chest. Graveyard had light arrows, had Rudo's letter.
Our way of the
Yeah.
heroes were really stacked today too, but there's a lot of overlap.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if the way heroes were technically always pointing you to the right items, but if you just paid attention to those, I think that is all the items that were out of the way.
This
Yeah.
seed is a really, really good indicator of full clear way of the hero.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think now, was there anything you needed that wasn't way of the hero? Like, you got bombs. You could get bombs in Forest Temple if you needed it. So, like, you had to do that. Long shot was in Forest. Hook shot was in Way of the Hero.
Oh, let me interrupt. That's Snipe. Gavaroni 1 finished in 3 hours even in 42 seconds, beating Check Raise by a second. And then Bonnaroo 10 seconds after that.
Oh wow, 3 finishes really fast.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That happens a lot nowadays. When 1.0 was out, you would finish, and then the next person was 1 hour after. No, it's crazy. Everyone finishes.
Yeah, as everyone gets better, and more people are in races, you get a lot more overlap. Every once in a while, you'll get like the first couple finishes like pretty far ahead of other people, as it's like just who made the right choices or who just like routed really efficiently. But then it's a lot of overlap once you get a little bit past that, I see. Yeah, Go ahead.
Zupal's about to finish up. He just needs to make that final hit on Ganon. His Master Sword has been empowered.
Empowered.
He whiffed a couple times, though, which is so annoying when you do that.
Trying to remember what your route was at the start, Exodus. Was it just the normal Child route?
Yeah, I just did the Gruta Valley and Lake Hylia, then I did 3 Song. That was it.
Yeah, Mike Katz did the farm for Deku Tree first, and then got Bomb Twos in there, wasn't it? Able to do all the grottos. I don't think there was anything in those grottos, though. Yeah, was there anything you felt particularly good about this seed, Exodus?
Well, I just think the way the heroes gave you almost everything you needed, so that was nice. It was really weird that there were 3 really powerful items in Kokiri Forest. Like, when I saw the way the hero, I was like, surely that's the hook shot or the bracelet, but it was also the bow, so I don't know. Maybe there was another bow somewhere that was also available, but
There's a bow in Zora's Domain, but I don't think you can reach that early. Or you're just supposed to reach that early.
yeah. And
But
I
that's
guess
a silver
the
scale.
other important thing was doing River for the hammer.
Oh yeah, that was out of the way.
Yeah, that was like one of the only things I think that were kind of out of the way. but even then, you would have to go up there for Ruto's letter. So.
There was also the magic in the Goron City Boulder Maze.
Yeah, but all those are standard checks, well, sort of.
Oh yeah.
I did see that some of our runners got double magic, though. I wonder where the second magic was. I didn't notice it.
No, I didn't find it. Don't know. Oh.
Oh, it's in the NL ferry, which is why is my brain not working? This.
Nayers love fairy. So
Okay.
desert.
Should have just said desert, Ace.
Oh yeah, I remember now, engineer typing in chat. Yeah, I called the start of the game Forest as the Forest Temple starter kit. But there was even a bow in there that I didn't know about at the time. It really was a Forest Temple starter kit. The Carry Forest people wanted you to be ready for the temple they have. Because you got all the items you needed for that there. Wow, we already have 6 finishes.
I hope no one noticed that I did Dart Link for like no reason at all.
I mean, we noticed, but we weren't mad at it.
I didn't notice. Speak for yourself.
Yeah, that was really weird because I got the boss key and then all I had to do was go beat the Morpha, but some kind of weird muscle memory from Bingo took over and I just went straight to Dark Link for no reason at all.
Like, this is the next check in line, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of Water Temple, that's where Cloud Ike is right now. Still has to do Jabu after this.
I think this seed is the earliest I've ever had go mode. I had everything I needed at like 2:05 or something, and then the last like hour I was just doing like 3 or 4 dungeons in a row. But that was nice to do Spirit and skip so many checks, and skip so many checks in Jabu and Water as well.
It's so weird to be go mode before you finished. Like, I think a couple of our runners were in go mode before they had even had like 3 medallions, which is very unusual.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is crazy.
And even having the big Oron sword, so you didn't even have to like keep checking to find that.
It can happen that sometimes you are in go mode without any medallions. That has happened to me. One race that I got like 215 or something. So yeah, it's pretty unusual to get go mode like really early compared to the medallions you have. But yeah, it can happen.
We've had some more finishes. Lorelia at 3:04:42. Capoise at 3:05:51. Kola Osu at 3:06:25. And
And two
Namaha. Yeah, Namaha at
sniping.
3:06:55. And then JFM 1 second later.
Hey, no problem, Zupel. GG, well done.
Not a tie though. I've seen ties before. Ties are crazy when you see them.
I think there was a tie last week, actually.
Yeah, it doesn't feel as bad with the snipes now that a snipe doesn't change your points, really. I mean, I guess it didn't really count for anything before, but, you know.
Well, that is really a nice thing, though, is that if it was based on placement, you could really lose a lot of grounding there in standings. But now it's based on time, so getting sniped by a second is not going to impact you. And no validation rupee. Unfortunately, we have not seen a validation rupee.
Must be in Guyana's castle.
I mean, maybe it's in validation chest. It's just nobody checked it.
All right, guys. I think I'm gonna get going. Got a dinner and stuff.
Thanks for being in the race. Thanks for joining commentary. And
Yeah.
hope your dinner's delicious.
Yeah, thank you. See you guys later.
See ya.
GG. Bye.
Yeah, I'm gonna go too. Thanks
Thank
for
you
commentating. Bye.
Yeah,
Take it easy.
Thanks for running. Thanks for showing up.
All right, so now we just get to see how Cloud's doing. He's heading over to Jabu. Gonna take care of that, and then he'll be in go mode. Or not even. He's technically in go mode now. He'll be in run to Ganon mode.
Yep. So all three of them have finished. So Cloud-like is the only one left. I feel like Cloud-like seemed like he was ahead for a little bit, but just taking longer for some of the getting away of heroes and stuff, I think.
Yeah, I think it was just not going where the hints told him to go.
Yeah, sometimes the seeds are a little trolly with the hints, but a lot of times it's just like, here's where you go. And then runners are like, but what if it's over here? And it's like, seeds like, no, I said go here.
I feel that sometimes, though, because sometimes I'm like, no. And then it, literally is that.
The way they hear Ice,
Go
GTG, Kokiri, and Graveyard. So yeah, Graveyard is the last one you didn't get in Namaha. And 10th Doctor finished in 22nd a moment ago.
I'm sorry,
Oh, go ahead.
I see Namaha's name, and I think of, the Yahaha for the Koroks in Breath of the Wild, so I'm pretty sure that's not where their name came from, but that's what I think of.
And Herd of Bronies is also finished. So we're down to the 780 points for a Herd of Bronies, so no more 800 finishers. And yeah, from a viewing perspective, it's a bit of a shame that none of the hints were trolls, but as a racer, I'm sure it feels really bad to forget about that stuff and then find out oh,
we didn't even get any troll freestanding items that were fools.
This was just a very fair seed. It's here you go.
Here's your items, beat the game. And knowing that Garuda's Fortress was dead took 1,500 archery out, so that undoubtedly made a lot of people happy.
Yep. Yeah, and Lost Woods Barrens saved a bunch of time too.
Yeah.
And yeah, Crossing the Wasteland would be a good play in this seed, because you have to do it. But it feels rough to do if you don't have the silvers, though.
Cloud hitting that uvula to knock the chest down, apparently. And there's Dotso finishing in 25th place.
And I think the bot missed Keizo finishing at 24th. Yeah, surprised to see Dotso so low.
Bad bot.
Yeah, and Raikaru and Wooden Barrel and some other people haven't even finished yet.
I wonder what check that it is that those people are missing. For me, it would have probably been the archery game in Kakariko, because I suck at that, so I tend to avoid it. I know, most of these runners don't have that problem.
Oh, there's Rob Dog. Not surprised Rob Dog having a lower finish. No weird logic to suss out this seed, so Rob Dog's talent as the logic whisperer is underutilized.
Didn't he do last week? He went up the river early or something, and that was why didn't he win or come close to winning? I think that was him.
I don't remember if that was him or that might have been 10th Doctor. I know 10th Doctor had a first place.
Oh, I think it was 10th Doctor. But somebody was talking about early, like, I don't know, it must have been in the result channel. I think I remember Rob saying something like that.
Yeah. Rob Dog just always shows up in chat and explains the weird logic things.
Yeah. I think he's one of the developers, though, isn't he?
Not sure. And yeah, River was pretty valuable just to get that Megaton hammer. I wouldn't be surprised if Dompe digging hurt some people.
That's
You did get Nocturne and Sunsong pretty early, but if you like didn't think about that when you did your like regular child stuff, then coming back to it, you'd want to wait to get Rudo's letter before you came back to it.
Not to mention, if you got the light arrow, been like, I don't need to do Dampe Dig because I already got my way of the hero, and it's such a pain in it's really a pain to route it in with like the timing, and if you don't have Sunsong, it can be a real royal pain in the butt.
I'm trying to remember. Wasn't Sunsong was that Serious Song location, if I remember?
Right, so it wouldn't have been that bad this time. Sometimes it kind of sucks though. You'll be standing there up in the Death Mountain Trail waiting for the sun to go down.
I mean, where was the Nocturne song? Like, I forget where those were.
I don't remember, but it was an early one. Last Way of the Hero, Dotso was for the graveyard, but we don't know. I don't remember where the stone was.
Yeah. Ukadike doing the trick for this blue switch.
And the bot is again telling us to follow the Breath of the Wild racers for some reason. It keeps doing that.
Bot, what are you doing?
Bad bot. Blame Trez. Everybody in chat, if you're sub, blame Trez.
Lens was Unfreeze King Zora. Magic was available at Goron City Boulder Maze, or was available on Desert Ferry. I have no idea where all the skull hints were. I only wrote down what they were, not where they were.
Right, I think one of them was outside the Temple of Time, but I don't remember where the other. I think the 50 skull hint was actually in Zora's Fountain. But
It might have been the 40. I know the 40 was the one we were looking for a while.
Right. So, Doc, does that mean that you were hunting skulls for a significant portion of this race? Oh no, I just saw your thing in chat where you said you gambled that you didn't need them. And Cloud pulling out those pot strats too. Oh no. But he has sword.
Yeah, the runners got the sword in Forest, so not like they could avoid it. He did realize he had the sword though.
I always forget I have sword too if I have it. I'm like, oh yeah, sword. You get so used to running without it that you're just like, oh yeah, that thing. I don't think anything was on chickens, so I don't think you missed out on anything.
Yeah, it was the Dompe digging that had the Rudo's letter. Oh god, Dotso not getting Zelda's Lullaby.
Ew.
And yeah, I know the feel of trying to do ZL checks without ZL.
Dipping Shadow, yuck.
I had a seed where that paid off though. I went into water without ZL and forgot that I needed ZL to do things in water. But I checked the first couple things I could and I found the boss key, so I just went and killed the boss and left and was like, yes. Value. Hovers were Castle Fairy.
I don't think anybody did Bottom of the Well on our restream. I don't think we saw. No, nobody did Bottom of the Well.
Oh, both wallets are in the well?
Our runners recognize the bottom of the well for the trap that it is.
I mean, this seed, it was just like... It was literally, like, do your hint locations, Boulder Maze, and the river.
But it was an early Song of Storms, so I wouldn't have been surprised if people did go in bottom of the well, even though they because let's face it, we do bottom of the well out of logic all the time. So I would have gotten debated into the well probably.
I'd be surprised to see people in the well in this seed, just because you had the Way of the Hero Ice and GTG, you always had better like side dungeons to do.
True. Not everybody did Deku. Only a couple.
Didn't everyone do Deku? I
Um,
thought everyone did Deku, but not everyone did Dodongo's Cavern.
maybe one person didn't do it, but
The trackers have everyone marked as doing Deku.
oh, okay, then they did. And there's Hamza finishing in 31st place.
And Raikaru right behind him.
Let's see if Cloud will open up the validation chest. Come on, we need at least one of our runners. Come on.
Not gonna happen.
I know.
Blade Fang in 33rd.
See, I always finish so late so like last place almost that I always check it. It's not going to affect my standings. I'm getting my 100 points. That's it.
But hey, you might be validated.
Yep, I'm absolutely going to be validated. I'm going to have to wait for the spoiler log to be posted so I can check for the validation rupee as well as what was in the validation chest. I can't go to sleep without knowing. Although I probably will, because I don't think everybody will finish before I go to bed.
Oh, Dotso got validation rupee? Apparently. And validation chest was highly in shield.
Oh, okay. We do not have feels valid man on FFZ emotes. Otherwise I would have posted it.
Yeah, although I think this seed, Suns and Nocturne were pretty early, so you could... Like, I know at least one of the runners checked Dompe digging with Suns and ZL. I mean, with Suns and Nocturne. Ooh, and Cloudite getting hit by Ganon. Having to jump across.
Oh, and missing Ganon with the light arrow.
But
Luckily getting a second shot off, though. That's good. Oh, rip, Lorelia, rip.
There was also a Lost Woods Baron in Sacred Forest Meadow.
That actually worked out for some of our runners because they didn't Woods, but they had got Minuet, so they came up that way and then checked it, and they probably would have done Lost Woods right after Sacred Forest Meadow, but then probably were like, nope, okay, don't need to. Yeah, nobody seems to be able to remember where the graveyard was, but we just know that it exists.
Oh, Cloud Ike using light arrow strats on Ganon.
I guess with double magic, that's not a terrible idea.
I don't think this actually damages him, though. It just stuns him. You actually have to hit his tail.
Oops.
So Cloud Ike on Ganon's second phase now. Picked up his Master Sword. So, almost finished. So Raska Tyrant has finished. Cloud Ike just doing his final few stabs on Ganon.
Finishing up with just 3 hearts left, which could have been disastrous. I don't know if he has a fairy in his back pocket.
Pasher finished. Cox finished. Cloud Ike just has to
Why?
shuffle over.
What was that? Oh, jeez. He was like charging up a spinning attack, but forgot he didn't have any magic. Whoops.
And Cloud Ike has finished in 40th place. It feels strange that you have a time of 3:25:37, which isn't too bad, and it's 40th.
Yeah, that's...
There's a lot of people in this race and a lot of good runners around. Jeez, that was a few finishes right then.
Yeah, there was a pretty couple quick snipes there.
Doesn't seem like Cloud Ike's gonna join chat.
All right.
Well, so we finished up all the runs.
All right, so I guess we need to... I don't know if we've switched screens yet, if we're on the interview screen or not. Sounds like...
We are now.
Okay. So
you can see all the points the top 15 have on this. And yeah, GTG got irons in GTG.
let's say that was a fairly simple seed. I mean, everything
Very straightforward.
It is extremely straightforward. Those Way of the Heroes were extremely powerful today, and that's not always the case. So while we're here, and since we are probably, I don't know if Cloud's coming in or not, but we could give a shout out. We could give a shout out to our trackers who did an amazing job and our restreamer as well, Ace. Thank you for providing your internets.
Yeah. So thank you to our trackers, Dom, Sigmafeed, Darkest Shadow, and Ariani. Thank you to Ace Zephyr for doing the restream. Thank you for commentating with me.
Of course, always a pleasure.
Thanks to the runners for racing. Congratulations to everyone that finished.
And thanks to ZSR for hosting these wonderful races, as they are a good, fun time.
Yep.
I would say that just about wraps it up then.
Yep. GG.
All right, hello again.
Oh, hello.
All right, hey, you want to just you want to stop the stream now, or you want to talk some more?
I don't feel like
Think we're good?
I have much else to say about it. We pretty much hashed it all out, I think.
I've got a couple of things. I think pretty much the upcoming things on ZSR is that tomorrow we've got the EU Weekly, same time as usual, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. UTC. We also later that day, 2 hours later, have a No I Am Wrong Warp tournament that's happening on ZSR2 between between I can't read things. Between Judo Gerudo versus Chris Seminem. So that'll be pretty interesting, I think. No I Am Wrong Warp is a fun category. And on Wednesday and Friday, we have 2 accessible tournament qualifiers for this, I believe. And on Saturday, a Breath of the Wild 80% race weekly. So I don't really have anything else to say, but yeah, this was a pretty fun restream, and I guess we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
All right, see you later, guys. Bye.